Drive.
Voted the best sports show in New Mexico.
For 5 years running. It's the OD in the AM with Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck.
Well, you got a shooter now. He may not come with big school pedigree. He may not be from Kansas or Arizona State or even Minnesota. But you got a shooter now for level basketball. A guy who lit it up in junior college, and it's exactly what they needed. What's up to you? Happy Tuesday.
Opening drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. JJ, look, there's guys with a lot of pedigree, guys that come, look where that excite Lobo fan. This guy might be, look, they needed a lot, but really what they needed, because one thing they really struggled last year did Lobo basketball is scoring the basketball, and it sounds like a young man named KJ Jenkins can score the basketball, can shoot from three. His junior college coach calls him special. We will see, but Richard Pitino went out and got another guard and a guy who can shoot, and they needed that.
Yeah, we're talking some pretty ridiculous percentages for Jenkins from three, and he's a volume shooter. So that's what stands out. This isn't a guy that on the season was like, oh, he's 20 of 40 overall. No, he was putting up a ton of shots. He finished the season shooting over 50% down the stretch from three. Not from the field, from three-point range. Overall, he's a 46.2% free throw shooter. And this is, I think, one of the biggest overhauls I've seen of a collegiate roster.
No doubt.
Like, ever. This is legitimately something that, all right, you think, all right, a couple, no, this is an entire new roster. And it just, there's more stuff coming, obviously. You're bringing in all these guys. Someone's going to have to move on, and there's more someones that need to enter the transfer portal for the Lobos to make it all work. But Richard Pitino and his staff are attacking shooting, are attacking the backcourt and really every level of this team, because it wasn't a good program last year, and they're trying to relay that foundation.
Yeah, they are over the limit. And I know people are, where's all the playing time? I'm going to probably get that one today, right? Where's the playing time come from? Where their scholarships coming from, a lot of people are asking too. They're over the limit, and I think this is not an uncommon position for most schools in this era of basketball. Once school ends, which is here in a few weeks, you're going to hear some guys leaving. I think it's been made pretty clear to whoever it is that there's not going to be a spot for them. We've talked about Asina Njai, who didn't get medically cleared last year and still has not been medically cleared. It feels like that's one of the guys, JJ. I don't want to throw a guy out the door yet before it's become official, but it just feels like that's where they're going. And then it would feel like they need some more front court help. And then which of the guards? You've got players that are still here that are working out. And look, this will all shake out. It'll shake out for the betterment of Lobo basketball as a product on the floor. It'll maybe be at the detriment of one or two individuals, and you hope that they find a place to play and go to school. But this is, to me, this is not shocking. I agree with you in regards to it's one of the biggest overhauls I've seen, but I didn't expect anything less than this. I expected this to be a darn near full overhaul. You've got, I believe this to be the 7th recruit that Richard Pitino's brought in since he's been the head coach a little over a month. And yeah, it doesn't shock me, and it feels like they're good players. I mean, we'll see when they get out on the floor come next fall. But the roster situation that everybody's so worried about will work itself out. And again, people are losing their mind. Well, they're over the limit, and who's leaving? This is just kind of part of the new transfer portal basketball.
Oh, this is even more than just transfer portal basketball, and this is why, if we take a step back and go to the overall picture of collegiate athletics, there's a lot of things that are happening that people don't like, and I know we've talked about it plenty. Things we're seeing with one-time transfer, but then we're also seeing a bunch of players that are committed to the University of New Mexico and a coaching staff telling them, yeah, you're probably not welcome here anymore. And so that's the challenge, right? Is you're going to say, oh, no, it's going to be hard, this or that. Well, there's always players out there. You're bringing a ton of new players, and then you're telling some guys that, hey, I know you came here, but it didn't work, so peace out and good luck.
Yeah, and that's the reality of it. there is no way to sugarcoat that, right? I mean, it is what it is, and And that's going to be part of the process. So you can get in on that. I think we got a pretty full show for you today. 505-246-0610 is how you get here today. 505-246-0610. Love your thoughts on KJ Jenkins from Kilgore College in Texas, and any of them. The new Lobo roster. How do you feel about it? I know you haven't seen it. I haven't seen it either. But how do you feel about that? We can get there. We're going to get in on the hoops last night. A good one, the state tournament. 3A, Sandia Prep 43, St. Michael's 42. Sam Henderson, big down the stretch for Sandia Prep. Robertson beat Socorro, so it'll be Prep and Robertson coming up next. We got COVID issues, JJ. Carlsbad will not play. On the boys' side, we've got a number of teams that had a positive test within the team yesterday, and those will be forfeits and teams moving on to the next round of the state tournament, which I know there was a lot of grumbling yesterday. Will you have time? Plug another team in, but this is the way it's going to be, and it's a bummer for those teams. We saw it once in the NCAA tournament. It was VCU, where once they announced the brackets that a team had a positive test within. Here we got 3 of them at the NMAA level, and it's just a bummer for those kids, those student athletes, and everybody involved, but that's the way that's going to be as we go through this really, really abbreviated state tournament week.
Yeah, and especially a bummer for Escalante in the 2A girls bracket. They were a team that I was really interested in seeing in terms of the 8 teams that got in. They scored the second most points per game, other than the Pecos girls, who were absolutely dominant in 2A. And the challenge was, when you had that stuff coming out yesterday, because that's when 1 through 3A played their quarterfinal games. So they play Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday in some cases, actually, in the getting down into 1A. So they're going to have their semifinals already today, and then we saw the big one come out in 5A boys with Carlsbad, and so that automatically advances Roswell into the next round. It's unfortunate because it really, outside of I think El Dorado, the entire school at the end of the year, there was a decent stretch where we didn't have these issues, and all of a sudden have a bunch pop up right at state tournament time, and it's just really unfortunate for those schools.
Did you catch any of the Prep St. Mike's game last night? It looked like it was terrific right down the stretch. Sam Henderson with a big three-pointer and then a reverse layup for Prep to move on at home against St. Mike's, and it what looked like a state tournament basketball game, right? I mean, a tight one back and forth down to the wire, and Devils move on, and they'll play Robertson coming up next.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things I'm interested to in seeing how this week plays out is, what do these schools think about this stretch of playoff games at home and then a regional state final? So you don't have these small schools traveling as early for their playoff games. And is that something that, this is an interesting scenario for us when it comes to basketball? And obviously, when we see the pushback with football, but is it something you kind of get the juices flowing? You're thinking a little bit different. You're getting these atmospheres. Be fun to see what happens.
Yeah, no, there's going to be a lot that we're going to learn this week. We're going to talk about the NBA. Big win for the Lakers last night over the Denver Nuggets. AD was terrific. Russell Westbrook put up numbers that are reminiscent of Wilt Chamberlain. We'll explain what that all means. Terry Bradshaw came out. He's got his opinion on Aaron Rodgers, what's going on there. The Dodgers lose one of their starting pitchers for the rest of the year, and we're going to remember Bobby Unser as well, the Albuquerque racing legend who passed away, and it broke literally towards the end of the show yesterday. So on your guest list today, 8 o'clock, JJ, we're going to catch up with an old buddy of mine, an old colleague of mine, former New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year. Bob Brown's going to be with us. Bob knew the answers really well. Does know the answers really well, and went to countless Indy 500s. I'm sure he's got the count. He's been a part of the Unser Racing Museum, and just remember, Bobby, because you asked me a little bit yesterday, and I tried to explain what Bobby meant to this community and what Bobby meant to racing. And I can't do it as well as Bob can. Bob knows the family so much better than I, and about as well as anybody that I know in the media. And so Bob's out of it now. So Bob Brown's going to join us coming up at 8 o'clock, and I'm looking forward to catching up with him. 8:30, Danny Gonzalez will be with us, Lobo football coach tonight. Another thing, I'm not sure you remember. Do you ever remember the Night of Champions?
I don't think I've ever attended a Night of Champions, but I know what it is.
It used to be a big deal and big spectacle, and covered well and attended well out at UNM. It's been gone for a number of years. It will be back tonight, and you can go out and enjoy it. It's a big weightlifting competition and big celebration, and Danny's going to be here to talk about that. That'll be at 8:30 this morning. So you can get in until then, 505-246-0610. That's 888-246-0610, or send your emails, Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Aaron's producing on the TV side on ProView Networks. Looks like Stephanie, because I don't see any Robert Cat in the picture. All by herself on the radio side. Oh, there's a Robert Cat lurking in the back. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM.
Titus and Tate, a podcast from
JJ Buck. Mike, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning. Welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer 0 for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Big one in the NBA last night. If the Lakers would have lost, and I think the common were they underdogs last night, JJ? They had to be dogs last night.
They were. They were.
And at home, here came the Nuggets. Lakers had just lost to Sacramento and Toronto, and here came the Nuggets with Nikola Jokic and his MVP-ness. 93-89. Anthony Davis went for 25 and 7 to keep the Lakers out of that play-in tournament that is bleep, according to La King. I was in LA last week, and I only tell you this because it's prevalent. It's relevant to the story. I was listening to Sports Talk Radio there, and Michael Thompson. They went through a thing with they did the Lakers' next 5 games. Well, what do you think? And they were predicting Michael Thompson, the former Laker who works with John Ireland on the broadcast, win. They had 5 wins, and when you go through it, JJ, it was Sacramento, win. Toronto struggling, they're coming in, win. Denver coming in with Jamal Murray. At that point, they figured LeBron would be there. Right, this was as LeBron gets back, they had 5 wins and life was grooving for them in their little minds, and then they went out and lost those 2 games to Sacramento and Toronto at home, and LeBron was asked about the question. Boy, did that just? I mean, everything I thought it would be yesterday was what it was, huh? On the national media, people just beat the tar out of him.
Yes, it was one LeBron James saying something, everyone reacting to it, and the majority of people going, of course, LeBron is complaining about something.
Well, he was complaining about something.
Yes,
he was asked about it. Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, where were you before? I'm like, he was winning a bunch of basketball games, so it didn't pertain to him, really. And he did say back in, I think, I'm going to have to double check it, but I think at least he said in the past that he wasn't necessarily a big fan of it, but he didn't have to consume himself with it because you're never at risk of being in the play-in tournament.
Because he's LeBron James. What do I worry about the bottom of the playoff bracket when I'm the king? I understand. 93-89 was the number last night as Anthony Davis was really good down the stretch. And I just a little bit of a surprising result, I would think, but a huge result. Look, maybe there's a little bit of urgency.
It was a statement win for the Lakers. Anthony Davis, Frank Vogel said that's the first time he's looked like him. Like he asserted himself early in that game. And then the rest of the Lakers showed up because that's still the team that's going to have to play well like they did in the playoffs last year in terms of defense, just being effective. And you got that across the board, especially with no LeBron James in the lineup. And that was one of those gut check moments. Now, there was a terrible call late. That offensive foul on Capazzo was just Anthony Davis flopping and throwing his arms around like, get out of here with that mess.
Superstars get calls.
But it's the situation where for the Nuggets, they left it too late. They decided to start playing basketball in the 4th quarter, and this Lakers team was already in a pretty good rhythm and was able to hold on and hold them off. But it was a gut check moment. The Lakers made a statement without LeBron, and that rest of the team realized, okay, this is what we got to do because we're running out of time. You got 6 games left. You can't just be like, oh, we'll be good when they get back. Now you got to start playing some good basketball right now.
Yeah, and the statement was Anthony Davis is healthy. And he looks like he's going to be ready to go for the playoffs. Lakers move into the 5 spot, half game ahead of Dallas. who's in the 6th spot, and a full game ahead of Portland, who's in the play-in tournament. As for Denver, they slipped now from a solid grip on 3rd into a tie with the Clippers for that 3 and 4 spot. That's what it meant to both of those teams. So it was a big night for both teams. Dan, good morning. You are on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Daniel.
Good morning, Jeffrey. You thought I was going to hang up if you kept me waiting.
No. I didn't think you'd hang up. What's up?
Yeah, I know. Hey, you know what was the great game last night? Was the Marvel Avengers
You like
game.
that?
You know, I don't know. Did you watch that on ESPN?
I had it on in the background.
Warriors Pelicans.
Yeah.
That was really cool. I mean, it was so different, and it just seemed to me like that's really going to draw in a lot of the younger kids to enjoy the game. You know, all the graphics and flames, you know, following the ball into the hoop and the big 3-point shots, and they get the big computer graphics explosion. And I just thought it was really cool, a different spin on it, and keep up, you know, they had Steph and Zion going at it, but Draymond Green ended up winning the competition last night. Heck, I don't know what they called it, but very interesting. A lot of fun. Kept me up to watch the whole game.
Well, it's good.
And,
See you and the kids.
Coach Patino, man, he's loading us up. I'm so excited about the entire program, about the entire Lobo Nation right now. Is we should be very grateful that Coach Patino's in here and he's shaking things up, bringing some new blood in, and I am sincerely excited about the season.
That's good. All right, Dan. I appreciate it. Be well today.
Bye-bye.
James, did you catch any superhero, the Marvel game between the Pelicans and the Warriors? Steph went for 41, but that's not really the story, is it?
Well, that's always a little piece of this story. But to his point, Draymond Green dunked the basketball last night. I cannot remember the last time Draymond Green dunked a basketball in a real live game in transition with other NBA players on the court. So he got hyped up for Marvel Night. He wanted to show, you know what, I can be this dude. And he's had his moments this year. His facilitating, just taking a step back and passing it to Steph Curry has been fantastic. And he played probably the best game of the year last night on Superhero Night for the Warriors.
What do you make of them? So right now it's Steph and Dame in the first series in that playoff tournament, or the play-in tournament, which I will watch that. Right, as much as I told you, I'm not really all that interested in the play-in tournament. Those would be the 7 and 8 teams. Those would be the last 2 teams in. And again, for the life of me, I don't understand why it's not 7-10 versus 8-9. It makes zero sense to me. But okay, fine. The winner, whoever gets through there, I think can give Phoenix. They would get the number 2 seed. I think gives Phoenix a series. I'm not telling you I think beats Phoenix, but I think gives Phoenix a series.
Yes, and we're still talking about a superstar player in Steph Curry, a star in Dame Lillard. But the Portland Trail Blazers have been ridiculously disappointing to be in this position right now. They've been healthy the last couple weeks. They're not a great team right now. They lost at Atlanta, and that's a bad loss at this point in the season for the Trailblazers last night. And it's just 2 guys you look at and go, man, they can win you a game or 2. But at this point in time, I don't think either team's necessarily good enough to win a 7-game series, especially against Phoenix Suns.
You know, I look at what's left because I think Portland's going to catch Dallas. Portland's got Cleveland, the Lakers, San Antonio, Houston. Well, I don't know that they are. They end with Utah, Phoenix, Denver. Those are the top 3 teams in the West right now. That's a tough little run for them to end with. It looks like Houston may have a little bit better of a run at it. So maybe Houston does. I mean, that's a big battle between those 2 teams to stay out of. And I guess the Lakers aren't out of the woods yet, are they? Just because
they're only
they won 1
game above Dallas, a full game above the Trailblazers there in the 7th spot, and then to end the season, we'll see what happens in a couple days because the Jazz Phoenix games could be rest games, and so you just don't know because right now Phoenix is the 2 seed, a half game back of the Utah Jazz. So was one of those spots going to be clinched in a couple days when we get towards the weekend? So that could change it as well, because you're looking at the schedule and you're like, man, that end could be tough. But then it could also be the games where they're like, you know what, we're taking the hit. It's a DNP for Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and some other guys to get ready for the playoffs.
Well, in Houston, who's trying to hold, or why am I looking at Houston? It just doesn't matter. What was I looking? I was looking at, I should have been looking at Dallas is what I wanted to look at. I looked at Houston. I'm like, they got a ridiculously stupid schedule to finish, but it really doesn't matter because they're not going to be anywhere near the playoffs. For the Mavericks, we're trying to hold on to that final spot outside of the play-in tournament and avoid that. They're going to end this season. I mean, they've got Miami, Brooklyn. Brooklyn's tough. 2 with Cleveland, Memphis, New Orleans, Toronto, Minnesota. I mean, you got to love the way they end the season, don't you? With games that matter. Their last 6, 2 with Cleveland, or last 7, 2 with Cleveland, 1 with Memphis, New Orleans, Toronto, Minnesota. You'd have to believe that they're going to finish 6th and maybe climb up to 5th, wouldn't you?
Yes, it's possible with that schedule.
Yeah, that's where the schedule is. All right, we're going to get other stuff. Russell Westbrook last night, 14 points, 21 rebounds, 24 assists. He's clinched a triple-double average for the season and doing stuff that hasn't been done since Wilt, so we're going to get there. Coming up at 8 o'clock, we're going to talk about Bobby Unser's life. Bob Brown's going to join us. Danny Gonzalez at 8:30 and get you ready for the big night of champions. Dodgers lose a pitcher for the rest of the season. I think that's a big blow for them. We're going to get there as well. It's the opening drive. 505-246-0610 is how you get to us today, or send emails, Jeff or JJ at sportsanimalabq.com.
Martin Luther King.
Virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth that's real tough, backed by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
Turbo Threads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. Turbo Threads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for Turbo Threads.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Your mic's hot.
Lobos and Aggies will meet Friday at 1 o'clock. Lobos and Aggies tennis NCAA tournament opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. All right, so I got a couple emails in. Man, are your allergies hitting you? Anybody else's? Mine are just beating me up today.
Yes,
beating me up early today. It's brutal. It's crazy. All right, Sid's in on the answers. Get a lot of Bobby Unser stuff yesterday. Get a little better idea. I know you knew who he was and what he did, but the character that Bobby was.
A little bit. Just reading the stories that started coming out, and then seeing even more stuff about the family and how many Unsers. I knew Bobby, Al Unser, but then he had a brother that was actually killed in an indie practice, and I didn't know.
No, the Unser family still is, but was, during their heyday when they were winning, when they were going to Indy every year, was so dominant in this town. Sid sent me an email. He said, Mr. Siembieda, 40 years ago, you had a lot more hair. 77 AM was playing great music, and folks would be talking about KOB's upcoming coverage of the Indy 500. Albuquerque was a smaller, closer-knit city then. Therefore, having the Unsers in the race was our Super Bowl. Next to Lobo basketball, they were the local sports superstars. I'd get up early Sunday morning, tune my transistor AM radio to 77, and await post time to hear Paul Page on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway radio network. If you had to go to a local business, you wouldn't miss a lap because they likely had their radios on too. After the race, it was time to turn on the local news and watch the sports folks, who were all live at the Speedway, wrap up the action. And don't forget the tape delay of the race on ABC that evening. Yeah, that's when Indy was tape delayed into the evening on Memorial Day. We're going to talk to Bob Brown coming up at 8 o'clock. Bob worked with the Unser Museum, but just a longtime sportscaster, former New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, former colleague of mine, good friend, but so tight with the Unsers. And I just... He gave me my appreciation for them, and I can't do it the justice that he can, and so I thought it'd be good to have Bobby on and talk about Bobby Unser. So we'll do that coming up at 8 o'clock. This one came in just pretty much on cue. Gus says, where are the scholarships going to come from, Jeff? This is unreal. When Gonzalez is on, you might want to ask him if Dick Pitino is borrowing scholarships from him. I mean,
it's not unreal. There's a lot. You know where it's coming from. And this is the situation. You're telling some kids thanks but no thanks, and that's the reality of it. There's no sugarcoating it in this situation.
And I know a lot of people are going to lose their minds. Well, they committed here and they came here. You got young men transferring on a regular basis. I mean, that's part of the scholarship. We've heard a lot, and I think really when Craig was here, right? How these are 1-year deals, right? You're on a one year deal, 1-year deals, and they renew every year. You had a coaching change. A lot of guys opted out. Now, are all of these student athletes going to find a place to play and go to school? I hope so, but I don't know that for sure. I think so. And what are we looking at, JJ? Probably 1 or 2 guys being told there's no room for them?
More than that.
You think so?
Well, so what do we? So
I think we're 2
all
over
the
right
players
now.
coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You got 7 new guys coming in.
7 scholarship players.
Yeah.
And you have 13. And so you had 9, so 3 guys.
15. 3 right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And then if McQuatch comes back, then you're looking at more.
Yeah.
Right?
So it would be the assumption if McQuatch and Njai doesn't get medically cleared, that opens up 2, and then it's who doesn't get the scholarship.
9 and 7 is 16. Yeah. And so where does it go? And well, yeah, there's 9 scholarship players returning, right? Jeremiah Francis, Javante Johnson, Saquon Singleton, Kurt Vegscheider, Emmanuel Quach, Rod Brown, and Valdir Manuel, and Asan Njai, and then you've got the McQuatch situation. So you're 3 over. And you're going to assume, right? There's more guys coming in. There are more transfers.
At this
I
rate,
would assume they're not done. Yeah. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend to speculate on who's in and who's out.
No.
I'm just not going to do that. There's guys I think are staying, but I don't know what the personalities have been either. And Richard's been very clear. He likes the work ethic, and everybody's being recruited again, right? And you're trying to impress again, and it's a new coaching staff. Who sent me that email? It was Gus. Yeah, I don't know that it's unreal. It's an overhaul that maybe you haven't seen of this proportion. Although, I don't know, man. How many new guys did you have last year? You had close to 7, didn't we? I don't know that this is that unreal.
But there was also more so at the open spots.
I understand the difference there. Yeah.
And this is also where I get back to it. It ain't perfect, man. This is collegiate sports, and this is the business side of it, even for the student athletes right now. And this is why there's going to be moments where people dislike it so much and go, oh, the one-time free transfer is going to kill college basketball. But then on the flip side, you can retool an entire roster because the team wasn't winning. You didn't like the coaching staff, so a new coach comes in and brings in a bunch of new players with him. And so I think that's the give and take, even for the players that, or in this case, player that doesn't necessarily want to enter the transfer portal, but is probably going to have to because his scholarship's not going to be there. No, he's a guy that shouldn't be penalized if he transfers at this point in time. And that's just, the challenge of it all. So you're still on mute, Jeff.
I would ask a guy like Gus, who feels this way, what would you, A, expect, and B, what would you want? This was a team that, what was the record? 5 wins, 2 in conference, right? They weren't good. They changed coaches. What did you expect, and what is it you want? I know you want this team to turn around and win. Did you expect that they were going to keep the roster the same? There were obvious holes. This wasn't just a development issue. There were obvious holes. You lost Byron Matos, so you needed front court help, right? Valdir Manuel, I believe, JJ, assuming he stays, can develop into a nice big. Do you agree with that? I thought there was progression last year.
I agree, especially at the end of the season offensively with Valdir.
Did you expect the roster to stay intact? There was no scoring. Nobody could create, and outside of Malawach, and there was no outside shooting threat. Who did you? If you were going to defend New Mexico, would you ever worry about the 3-point shot?
No, you just sag in and say, all right, you want to shoot, shoot.
All right, so you needed to reconstruct your roster. So I guess I would go back to Gus. This is unreal, but is it? Like, did you expect the construct of that roster to stay as was? Or did you expect this to happen? Because I don't know how you wouldn't expect it. And what do you want? Did you want it to stay intact? Were you tied to all of these guys? Many of them, you already lost. JJ, how many guys transferred out already? 5? Right? Between whether it was Keith McGee, Isaiah Marin, Byron Matos, who else left?
So the players, yes.
Dorsey, Padgett.
Nolan Dorsey, 2 walk-ons and Headings and Padgett.
Yep. So that was 4 scholarships, 2 walk-ons, right? All right. Mm-hmm. You don't have a problem with those guys leaving. So I guess I would go back on you guys. It's unreal. I don't know if it's unreal. Is it drastic? Yeah, I'll start to work with drastic. Was it needed? I would tell you, if you wanted to see a winning product, don't you think? Or were you just going to run those guys back out and think a different coach was going to make them better next year?
It was needed.
But if they ran them back out with a different coach, were they going to be a better team?
Some people might think so.
Better enough? Good enough?
Not to the expectations.
No. Just no. We got eyes. All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. You can get in on that. But there's a lot. But I don't know where you expected that thing to go.
We got eyes, and with those eyes, we see, you know what, maybe we need to better ourselves. And we're talking about one-time transfers. Well, you know what I did? I took a redshirt season last year when it came to my fitness. We were focused on health, staying healthy, but were we focused on our fitness and exercising? For me, I wasn't. But with F45 functional training, I have got the spark back. I'm excited to work out, and it helps your everyday life with your energy from when you wake up till you make it to the end of the day with your eating habits. When you get back to the gym, you get back to a regular routine, it's going to make you feel better and get you excited to attack the day. And F45 functional fitness classes are 45 minutes, so you have a class that is manageable to fit into that busy schedule, because it's easy to get lost in that day with all the stuff we're doing. I'm calling games. I got a 2-year-old at home, work, and then you get to a certain point in the day, you're like, oh man, what workout am I going to do? Where am I going to work out? What do I need to do? But with F45 functional fitness, classes 7 days a week, it's all there for you. You show up. Last night it was Redline. It was a cardio-based class, and boy, was it intense. 9 stations, 5 sets at each station, and I felt it. And that's the kind of cardio I am into. I'm just not someone that needs to sit on a bike or a treadmill. I need to be moving. I need to be doing various exercises, and F45 functional fitness can do that with fast, fun, and results-driven workouts that can fit into your schedule. So check them out at f45training.com. Download the F45 app so you can look up the Northeast Heights location, check out their schedule. Classes available 7 days a week. Sign up for your 7-day free trial. Get in the gym and check it out, because you're going to like it. I am loving it so far. The gym is located 5920 Holly Northeast, so it's really good access. Paseo I-25 from wherever you're coming from in the city. Hey, if you want to sign up for a class, let me know. I'll take one with you. It's a fun challenge. It's a great workout in just 45 minutes. So F45training.com. Download the F45 app. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Martin Luther King, there's an accident.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440. Extreme Clean.
Like Lauren McKinley with the ball right there, just into the game, banks one off the window.
Lovato spins. Lovato going to get all the way to the basket over Gilliford. It's the ball handler. Lovato's so good he only needs one shoe. Seiss just picked his pocket, transition, and one on a strong finish for Gabe Seiss.
He will smack that one to center field. This one's going, it's going, and that is home run for Kiana King. For today, 2 games. 4 official at-bats. She has 4 home runs. King adding more to the board.
Back to Stanridge. Stanridge going to go strong. No, look underneath. Beautiful pass there to Ethan Chavez. No good. Offensive rebound for Ayers, and he beats the horn. Exodus Ayers steals the offensive board, and he beats the buzzer, and we got a 1-point game here District on the line at Sandia. It's halftime here on ProView Network. Lovato trying to go all the way. Lovato, tough angle. It's going to count, and it's a chance at a three-point play for Lovato. Steal by Wade. Wade will slam it in transit. Touch the ball for them. Big look. Pacheco, the lob, slam dunk. The lob to Wade, it's a slam dunk and a timeout. Valley right away, and great job by Pacheco in finding Wade in the open court.
Ladies, how does it feel? Let's come in here a little bit. How does it feel to hit the 1,000 point mark here at Volcano Vista? Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
Yeah!
Say hi to everybody. You bet.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer 0 for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units.
I got something for you to look forward to tonight. Not just state basketball. Houston Astros make their first trip to Yankee Stadium since the whole, well, you know, the whole sign stealing, trash can banging thing in 2017. And it might be, look, it's going to be 20% capacity at Yankee Stadium, but I think it's going to be more than 20% lunacy there from their fans.
It's going to feel like it's sold-out house at Yankee Stadium to welcome the Houston Astros in, because I already saw it yesterday, the stories that the Astros stole the Yankees' best chance at a title, that this core that's been dealing with injuries is not the same. That was their opportunity. Gary Sanchez can't hit a baseball right now. You have Garrett Cole, but what else you got in that rotation? It's going to be rowdy, and they're going to let the Astros know that, hey, y'all hit some trash cans. And I don't care if you think it's lazy, you get to hear it because you didn't get to hear it last year.
Dusty Baker, the manager, was saying, look, most of those guys are gone. There's like 4 or 5 guys that are still here. I wasn't here then, but it doesn't matter. To your point, it doesn't matter. It's going to be
the
wild.
Astros
That's
across
right.
your chest. And guess what? And then they can do it when they welcome in George Springer and the Toronto Blue Jays. The rest of the Blue Jays can hear about it with what George Springer did.
Yeah, it's gonna be nuts. Like the Yankees and Dodger fans, because those are teams that the Astros beat during that run, have been amongst the harshest critics since baseball announced and found that they use a center field camera, video monitor, trash cans to relay the opposing team's signs to their hitters during the 2017 season. The Astros beat the Yankees in 7 games in the ALCS, beat the Dodgers in the World Series. As you know, there was no consequences, and people are pissed. Well, that's not fair. There were consequences. They were fined $5 million, lost 2 draft picks, and their GM and their manager lost their jobs. So 20% tonight, but look, they're going to go nuts. Martin Maldonado is Astros catcher. He said, we're getting booed everywhere. As a team, we love it. We enjoy it. I think it gets the best out of us. We go out there and we feel like we're playing baseball, playoff baseball every game. I don't see anything different if we go out there and play our game. Okay. All right. They're 2 games back of the Astros, back of the Angels. They're 15-13. Yankees are 14-14. Got off to a really bad start. I think it's worth a look tonight. I don't know that it gets stupid, although I don't know what does it. I don't know what gets out of control, but it gets. I think it gets wild at Yankee Stadium tonight, and tomorrow night,
as it should,
and the next night,
as it should with the Astros coming to town. They didn't get a chance to be booed last season, and so this is the chance for fans to let it out. And by the way, that core is still there. Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, very good baseball players that won games for them. So there you go.
Ray, I believe is what you told me. Ray, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Ray.
How you guys doing?
Good. How's it going?
It's going, yeah, I think that's good. The change for the Lobos basketball, I think it's good. They need it. I think they needed it. And I don't know who thinks a new coach is going to come in and not bring in his own recruits as soon as he can. But I think that's good for Lobo basketball. Matos is gone. He should have been gone. I think Manuel and Brown, I think they should be gone too, because I think they gave up on the team last year and didn't want to play. I don't think they should even have a chance to be on the team. How are you gonna feel for them being a teammate when they let you down last year and they want to come out, didn't want to come and play and support you guys? I think they should be off the team too. That's my opinion. But that's good that Petito's bringing in his guys. Now Lobos will start selling out crowds. Thanks.
Thank you, Ray. The guys who didn't play the end of the season last year, does that have any impact moving forward? I don't know. I don't know what the relationship is with the players who did play. How does the coach look upon that? It's an interesting piece of it. You know, there were guys who decided I'm not playing the end of the year. I don't want to play anymore. I don't want, whether it was I don't want to play for the coach or I don't want to play with these guys or whatever. You still got a few of them still around.
And with Valdir, wasn't he with the team but not dressed at the end?
On the last trip, yeah. Yeah, the last game. Yeah. So, I mean, they were all trips, right? They were all trips. But, yeah, I think Rod Brown didn't play. Valdir was dressed but didn't play. Was Fagshatter part of that too? If I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, look, I don't think anybody looked at that team and said that was just a team that was poorly coached and is incredibly talented, and that's why they didn't win. I mean, I don't think anybody did. Just put in a good coach or a new coach, and somehow you're gonna turn that thing around.
Out in one.
I mean, is that how you viewed it? Because I know you didn't. I know you didn't. All right, when we come back, we're going to talk about Bobby Unser. Going to be joined by former Channel 7 sportscaster Bob Brown, longtime friend of the Unsers, involved with the Unser Museum. And remember Bobby Unser. Danny Gonzalez at the bottom of the hour at 8:30. We'll talk about the Night of Champions. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610 Sports Hour.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems, and Layer 0 for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever, no one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
The answers mean different things to different people, but I think everybody in this town has wonderful respect for them. Maybe you're of an age that really all you know about them is that there's a road out on the west side, a major road. But if you're of another age, you realize what they meant not only to this town in regards to sports and profile, but on a global stage at the Indy 500. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. We'll get back to your calls in a little bit. Bobby Unser passed away yesterday, 3-time winner of the Indy 500, one of only 2 men to win the Indy 500 in 3 different decades, an incredible, booming personality. And I started thinking, you know, I don't do it justice. When I got here in 1996, Bobby and Al weren't racing anymore. Little Al was, but a gentleman who's a great friend of mine. He's a 2-time or former New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, longtime sportscaster, Channel 7, and one of the 2 best photographers I ever worked with when I was in television. Bob Brown joins us, and long time been part of the Unser Museum. Bobby, it's good to catch up with you. I know in tough circumstances you're still very tight with the Unsers. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How's it going?
Good. Thanks for coming in. For people who don't know, maybe some people who moved here later don't remember the answers, how I was trying to put it into terms, how do you describe Bobby to people, what he meant?
Very confident, sure of himself. He knew everything about everything, just a great guy. And you know what I loved about Bobby and the Unsers in general is I love the stories of racing. I'm a race fan. And so you could just pepper them with questions. And you know, Bobby or Big Al, Little Al, I mean, Bobby is like, it was like yesterday for him. I mean, he remembers all these things, every race, every detail of all the things, and he's not shy to tell you about it all. So you can just ask him a question, just wind him up and let him go. And for race fans, it's like great, because as much as I love to listen to the stories, Bobby loved to tell the stories.
Yeah, he did. And you've been involved with the Unser Museum and the family for so many years. And when I got here in '96, I was just amazed at your knowledge of Indy. And I never went. I know you went there a lot. When Bobby went to the Indy 500, I heard stories that even after he was racing, it was like Elvis walking around there, wasn't it? People just.
It really was. You know, the first time I went, well, I went as a little kid. I went to qualifying as a little kid. But when I went as a reporter at Channel 7, and I was going to catch up with Bobby because I wanted to do something with him. Obviously, a three-time champion there, and the Unser name and all of that. How it is now, I'm not sure. But back then, the stands came literally right down, basically to where the pits were. And so as a fan, you could kind of walk down there. If you didn't have a pit pass, you could still be pretty much right there, just on one side of the short fence that was set up there. And Bobby would just stroll up and down, pit lane there, just talking to all the different racers he knew, or the people that worked in the pits, or mechanics and that sort of thing. And then all the fans would migrate down there toward the fence, and Bobby would stand down there and just glad hand with all of them and tell stories. And everybody has a question. Obviously, if you're an Indy fan and you're there and there's Bobby Unser, you got a question. And he would just revel in that moment. And I was like, Bobby, I mean, you haven't raced here in a while, but you're so happy, the smile on your face and the interaction with all the fans. And I'll never forget, he says, Bob, I'm a celebrity here at Indy. And that's it, man. I mean, that was it in a nutshell. That was his home, Indianapolis, man. He loved it. And he just loved to go there and talk to all the race fans. And he's right. He was big-time celebrity, no doubt about it.
Bob Brown joins us on the opening drive. We're talking about Bobby Unser.
Well, Bob, speaking of the stories, the memories for the fans that watched him race and the buzz, when you heard about what it was like when he was racing and the reaction of this city, of this state, what kind of things stood out to you about the way that people just gravitated to the Unsers?
I think just because of the family and the longevity. I mean, you think about the history of the family, and they migrated to the U.S. in 1890. Okay, they came from Austria, and so funny, of all the places that the family could end up when they left Europe and came to the United States, they ended up in Indiana, of all places. So the family originally ended up in Indiana, and then they migrated out to Colorado Springs. That's where Bobby was born, and then down to Albuquerque, where Big Al was born. He's like 5-6 years younger than Bobby. But just the longevity of the family, being at the pinnacle of racing for so long with Big Al and Bobby, and then Junior coming along. I think if you were going to broad brush kind of how they were as race car drivers, you would say that Bobby was one of these guys that was a hard charger. He wanted to lead on the very first lap. They're always saying you can't win the race on the first lap. Well, try telling that to Bobby. He wanted to get out there and lead and run as hard as he could. Big Al, his younger brother, was more of like, protect my equipment, get me to the end of the race and see what happens. And then Junior, you could say, kind of was a little bit of both of that. Hard charger, yet protecting his equipment, making sure he got to the finish line. So I think that's a big part of it. And they, race car drivers, it's not like, NFL guy or NBA guy or Major League Baseball star or something like that. Race car drivers, I think they appreciate maybe the fans a little bit more because they aren't, stick and ball fans. And so race car drivers are, for the most part, pretty approachable, and they love talking, shop with fans. So I think that's a big part of it, that they were very approachable. I mean, if you've met Bobby, or you've met Big Al, these guys are really personable. I mean, they just like, I think like Johnny Tapia, Jeff, that, you know, they're down to earth guys that you just talk with, and you meet them for 2 minutes and you feel like, man, we've been friends forever.
I think that's totally right. Bob Brown's with us for a few more minutes. We're talking about Bobby Unser.
Now, Bob, when you mentioned Bobby and his celebrity status at Indy, what did he mean to the sport overall, and not just when he goes back to Indianapolis, but his impact on the game, especially winning that race, the 500 in 3 different decades?
Yeah, winning the race, and then, you know, for the younger generation, they knew Bobby as this kind of controversial figure on television. He worked at ABC, he did the IndyCar races, and he was very outspoken in the booth. So, you know, after his racing career, he took all that knowledge, and then he went up into the booth, and for, you know, the coming of television and IndyCar racing on TV, live events, it just, another generation got to meet Bobby in a different way, not the race car driver, but the guy who talked about racing and everything around racing on television. So I think that was a big part of his popularity, that he came around, you know, in the 50s and the 60s, 70s, even in the 80s when he won his last Indy. And then for 20 years after that on television for race fans, they got to know him probably better than they did as a race car driver.
Bob, can you explain to people what the Unsers meant? I got here in '96, and this town has grown so much in the last 25 years. But even before that, to have not one but a family of superstars on a global level, like I think people over the last few years have seen, whether it's a Brian Urlacher or an Alex Bregman, even a Holly Holm to some extent, climb to a national level. But back when the town was that size, the pride that this town had in it, Johnny Tapia, but certainly in the Unsers, what did it mean to this town to have those guys? Because every year, I know we just had an emailer, the Indy 500 was our Super Bowl, he said.
Yeah. Well, it's not a big money state, as you know. Anybody that lived in New Mexico knows, you know, economically, we're not a powerhouse for a state. So these guys and those athletes you mentioned, you know, kind of did it on their own. They built these things by themselves. They worked really, really hard at their craft, or whatever that was. It was, you know, Brian as a football player, or Holly as a fighter, or the Unsers as race car drivers. But aside from just being race car drivers, these guys built their own cars. You know, you think of Big Al and Bobby and Al Unser Jr., but don't forget Jerry Jr., one of his older brothers. You know, yeah. Bobby was the third of 4 brothers. He had the 2 twins, Lou and Jerry Jr. And Jerry Jr. may have been the best race car driver of all the Unsers. This is the guy who won the stock car championship in 1957. He goes to Indy. He's the first Unser to race at Indianapolis. He goes there in 1958. There's a big 13-car pileup on the first lap. He goes over the side of the track, basically kind of bums up his shoulder a little bit. A few weeks later, he's racing at Pikes Peak, goes over the edge at Pikes Peak. This is Bobby's older brother now, who we looked up to. And he basically walked away from that crash at Pikes Peak a few weeks later with a busted nose. And then he goes back to Indianapolis a year later in 1959, crashes in practice, spends 2 weeks in the hospital where he succumbs to his injuries and burned. He got burned very badly. Ends up dying in 1959 in Indianapolis there. It was in 59 that IndyCar said, okay, no more just showing up wearing your overalls or your jeans or a T-shirt. Because of the wreck of Jerry Jr. and his death, they changed the rules that said you needed to wear like a full-piece driving suit, flame retardant type thing. So that was a rules change for IndyCar that the death of Bobby's, you know, older brother brought about. And then it's just a few years later where Bobby goes to Indianapolis, and I talked about him being a hard charger. He got to drive the Novi Special. It was built in Michigan, and it was a very, very powerful car with a big engine and a supercharger and all of that. Had its distinct noise that fans at Indianapolis and even outside the track, they could hear that car. It was so loud and so powerful. And Parnelli Jones secured a ride in 1963 for Bobby Unser to race in the Indy 500 in the Novi. So he goes over, he gets the car, First lap, he passes 11 guys on the first lap. This is Bobby Unser. You know, he's a hard charger. He wants to win on the first lap at the Indy 500. He passes 11 cars and then proceeds to spin out on the second lap, backs it into the wall, and basically his day is done. So, I mean, that's the kind of guy he was. He was trying to get to the front, crashes on the second lap, and then that's the end of it. But 5 years later, he goes back to Indy again and wins the Indy 500 for the first of his three, 1968. And that car is on display at the Unser Race Museum, as is the Novi that he raced in '63, and also one of his Pikes Peak hill climb cars that he built in Albuquerque. Again, these guys were mechanical engineers as well, so he designed a lot of the car. He came up with innovations for the car. If you talked to Bobby back in the day, he would have told you, well, I'm the one that kind of came up with the ground effects for the Indy car, and I designed the spoilers and all those kind of things, but he did come up with an innovation that was pretty clever for his Pikes Peak car in the late 50s, 1958. He built the Pikes Peak car, and he was always looking for an advantage. And a lot of the race car drivers, they would say, well, you know, Bobby was notorious for cheating, you know, and, you know, the old saying, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So he came up with this concept to better get traction at his car on the dirt at Pikes Peak. So instead of going out and buying brand new tires, you would have to retread tires. So you would melt the rubber and you would create your own compound and a tire. And so he came up with the idea to take walnut shells and put those into the tire compound as the tire was being formed. And so when the tire was complete, it had these little walnut shells sticking out of the rubber. And it gave him that extra bit of tackiness and traction on the dirt at Pikes Peak that it was an advantage for him. And by the time he got to the top of the mountain, the shells had basically all but worn down. You can still see that car at the Unser Race Museum today with those. You can see the remnants of the shells that he had put into the tire just to get that little bit of advantage over everybody. And it was such a unique concept that the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company actually used that concept in creating their all-purpose off-road tires. So it was an innovation he came up with.
How does that into your mind, Bob? How does
over the day? What's that?
How does it get into your mind? I'm going to use walnut shells to help.
I don't know. When I heard the story, I thought maybe it was pecan shells because of all the pecan orchards down south, here in New Mexico. But he came up with the idea. He's, hey, listen, I put these shells in this rubber compound here, and that'll give me a little extra traction on the dirt, and it was just like nobody really thought about it, but he built the car from the ground up, and that was one of the innovations that he added to it.
Insane. Well, he'll be missed. I remember the first time you took me to meet Bobby, I was with you, and he was so accommodating and welcoming to me. I remember the first time you took me over to Rick Gallus's shop. The first time I met Little Al was with you, and I miss racing being as prevalent as it is. It lives at the Unser Museum, and I encourage people to get down there because it's such a spectacular venue that we've got here that preserves history and great Albuquerque history. Bobby, I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. I hope it gives people perspective on what Bobby was, and let's catch up soon. But thanks for getting up this morning and spending some time with us.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite. I really do. Keep up the good work, and we'll catch up soon.
All right, be well. Bob Brown. Yeah, he's one of the best. Good friend for a long time and former New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, but he knows so much about racing. He was my first guy, JJ, to go to. He taught me all this. I mean, literally introduced me to the Unsers, and all my introductions were with Bobby, and they welcomed him like family back then in '96, and I know they still do now. So I hope that gives a little perspective to it.
Oh, it absolutely does. Fantastic stories, and just a reminder of how important that family was to racing, and then Bobby's career. That's fantastic, man. That is quite the resume.
It's the opening drive. Danny Gonzalez will be with us at the bottom of the hour on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Like Lauren McKinley with the ball right there, just into the game. Banks one off the window.
Well, thanks to Bob for doing that. For me, it's good to hear some of those stories, and I hope it puts into perspective just what Bobby was, what the Unser family was. Bobby was just a larger-than-life personality, and like I said, Bob knows more about racing than anybody I know, and it's great to have him in and talk about that. And it lives on at the Unser Museum. Have you ever been to the Unser Museum?
I have not. I'm looking forward to going, especially since the little one is a super gearhead already.
Love
so
that.
I know it'd be a great little visit.
Yeah, and it's right there. I drove past it yesterday, right on Montano, just to the east of the river, and they've done a wonderful job there. It's one of the little gems in our community that I don't think gets enough love, and it's a beautiful, beautiful site. And Bobby will live on there forever. Teton Saltis' birthday today. I think he goes to New York, and minicamp starts tomorrow, right? So happy birthday to Teton. Pretty good birthday week for him as they move on, and he gets going. Grant Herman's. Did we talk much about this yesterday? That the irony that they both end up in the same spot, this free agent lineman.
Not really, but it's a fantastic story to see these two guys, because when they're coming out, you had Grant Herman's Rio Rancho, Teton Saltis Valley High School. And that was a rare time where, and there was, there was one other lineman that was mentioned. I saw
went to Stanford, right?
Yes, and I'm blanking on the name right now, but it was a fantastic core of players in and around the metro area that season, and to see how their careers progressed, and especially for Teton coming in as defensive lineman and ultimately switching over to play offense, and then him earning himself an opportunity in the NFL, and Grant Hermans, who hopefully we're working on getting him on as well. Really ranch stand out that went to Purdue, and Henry Hattis. And he was Cleveland, right? So it was Rio Rancho, Cleveland, and then Valley that year. Had those guys popping. It's just an awesome story. It's just kind of one of those coincidences having two New Mexico kids ending up in the Jets minicamp.
No, I think it's great. It's interesting because, I heard a Grant Hermans soundbite where, he thinks we can both make it. It's a new coaching staff, and I think that's right. You wonder how many free agent lineman spots they're going to have open, and they did use a first-round pick to get a lineman from USC. But that said, man, it's a good chance one of them sticks, and hopefully both of them stick. And I'm rooting so hard for Teton. I know we're not supposed to root, man, but I tell you all the time. I like when good things happen to good people, and that young man, by every account, is good people, and has carried himself incredibly well, has accepted, some people get thrust into the spotlight, right? Some people, for whatever reason, they've got a story or a personality trait, or they're just a good player, and they get thrust into the spotlight reluctantly. And this young man, in a time where the program was not good, accepted the spotlight, stepped forward, and carried the torch for that program. And wouldn't you say there was a period as the program transitioned from Bob Davie to Danny Gonzalez, that offensive lineman from Valley High School was the face of Lobo football? Wouldn't you say that?
Absolutely, but it was also what he was doing in one of the most difficult times we've experienced.
In the history, yes.
In the midst of a global pandemic, he's like, I got things to do. My family and I got to go back to the reservation and help out. And the way he carries himself, and then the way he represents the university, and everything he does, it's incredible, because then you also had a guy going into his senior season that's like, I might be able to do this football thing at the next level. And yet he's still cerebral in that regard to handling everything he does off the football field. And then when it comes onto it, gets his job done to the point of earning a camp invite in the NFL.
And then he goes out and wins the Werfel Award, which is the best community service in all of college football. And to your point, it's what he says, how he says it, but more so what he does and how he does it. And the young man accepted the spotlight, accepted the challenge, and welcomed all of it. And with such grace and with such gratitude and with such positivity in a time where this planet needed positivity. And that's why, look, this doesn't mean I'm not rooting for anybody else, man. I'm rooting for the young man from Purdue as well, Grant Hermans. But Teton is just, I think for Lobo fans, a special individual. And JJ, it's not often that it's a lineman that you get to know that well. You get to know the quarterback, you get to know a running back, hell, maybe even a linebacker. But it's not that often that an offensive lineman becomes the face of your program and represents so well, and it is a guy that everybody knows, everybody roots for, and I'm so rooting for that young man and his story, and I want people to know it. 505-246-0610. I know Danny Gonzalez will talk about that when we talk to him next. We'll talk to Danny about Teton's opportunity, as well as the Night of Champions, which is tonight. Lobo football coach Danny Gonzalez is coming up next. Hey, fellas, springtime, summertime, more than anything else, it's time to feel like you again. Guys, if you're feeling sluggish, been regularly tired, maybe you're carrying a few extra pounds or you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, New Male will help you feel like you again. Most likely you know this, but as you age, things like fatigue, low T, even erectile dysfunction are natural. Good chance you'll be affected. Call New Male at 505-652-1688 or visit New Male, that's NUMALE.com, and feel like you again. Take care of it. New Male leads the way in men's health. They make men feel better and battle nature. Their testosterone replacement is cutting edge. The process is easy and comfortable. The best part is the results are proven, and they're absolutely real. Call and make an appointment, 505-652-1688. Sometimes the toughest part is that first part, making the call. Don't put it off, fellas. Time to feel well. Time to feel like you again. New Male will help you. 505-652-1688 or visit newmale.com and feel like you again.
Lovato spins. Lovato going to get all the way to the basket over Gilliford. It's the ball handler. Lovato's so good he only needs one shoe. Seiss just picked his pocket. Transition and one on a strong finish for Gabe Seiss.
He will smack that one to center field. This one's going. It's going. And that is home run for Kiana King. For today, 2 games, 4 official at-bats. She has 4 home runs. King adding more to the board.
Back to Stanridge. Stanridge going to go strong. No, look, underneath. Beautiful pass there to Ethan Chavez. No good. Offensive rebound for Ayers, and he beats the horn. Exodus Ayers steals the offensive board, and he beats the buzzer, and we got a 1-point game here. District on the line at Sandia. It's halftime here on ProView Network. Lovato trying to go all the way. Lovato, tough angle. It's going to count. And it's a chance at a 3-point play for Lovato. Steal by Wade. Wade will slam it in transit. Touch the ball for them. And, big look. Pacheco, the lob, slam dunk. The lob to Wade, it's a slam dunk and a timeout. Valley right away, and great job by Pacheco in finding Wade in the open court.
Ladies, how does it feel? Let's come in here a little bit. How does it feel to hit the 1,000-point mark here at Volcano Vista? Look at the camera. Look at the camera.
Yeah!
Say hi to everybody. You bet.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric.
Well, there's a lot of things that used to be, and maybe still should be, and this is one of them. It used to be a big night of champions. It's the culmination of the spring strength, post-spring football, spring strength schedule for UNM football, and guys would go out and lift enormous amounts of weight and be cheered on by fans and players, and it was a big deal. And it is a gain. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. Tonight, Night of Champions is back. It started back in the 90s when Dennis Franchione was head coach. Continued through Rocky Long's tenure as head coach, and Danny Gonzalez saw what that was and is bringing it back. And the head coach of Lobo football is with us on the opening drive. Good day, sir. How you living?
Great. Good morning, Jeff and JJ. Thank you for having me on. Before I get started on that, I would just really like to give my condolences to the Unser family. I mean, they're a huge part of Albuquerque. As a youngster growing up, my dad actually knew Bobby very well from owning the 2 Firestone stores, and they were pretty close. And so it's a really sad day, a day we can celebrate, though, because we get to celebrate the Unsers. I mean, I'm actually building on where Al Unser Jr.'s property used to be, so my condolences to them. But what a great man, a great human being, and I used to enjoying listening to him on Indy 500 Day when he would commentate and be one of the commentators. So, I mean, great opportunity, just love the Unser family.
Danny, as a guy who grew up here, what did I've been trying to explain to people, and I've been here since '96, and really the heyday was before that. Growing up here, the Unsers and Bobby meant what to this community?
Oh, I mean, I heard one of your callers state earlier. It was Lobo Sports, and it was the Unsers. I mean, an interesting story that a lot of people don't know. Rick Gallix actually gave Coach Long a job between coaching stops, and he worked for the Unser racing team. I mean, when Al Jr. won the Indianapolis 500 in 1992 in the closest race ever, there was big praise. I mean, we were talking about the Indy Racing League circuit was huge at that time, and I remember them talking about trying to get a race like Denver had in downtown Albuquerque, and Rick Gallis and the Unsers had the opportunity to do that because it was that popular at that time. So, I mean, I loved Indy racing growing up. One, my dad was a big car fan, worked Firestone, owned a couple Firestones, but the fact that Al Unser Jr. he was one of us. He was from Albuquerque. I mean, they were Albuquerque boys, and they grew up here, and just a really, really special family to our community.
Yeah, that's cool. Danny Gonzalez is the Lobo football coach, and that's great stuff, actually, because I've been hearing all kinds of stories, and when I met them, just special, welcoming people, global superstars who if you didn't know who they were and you met them in a restaurant, you would have no idea because there was zero ego to them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they loved where they were from. That's what's even more special about them.
Yeah. All right. You got a special thing tonight, and I'm glad you're bringing this back. You and I talked about this, God, I want to say about a year and a half ago, and you said, I'm bringing it back. And I was like, dang, I remember how big it was when I was at Channel 7. This is one of the biggest nights. We would go live out there every night. Explain to people, I feel like we're going back in the day, right? Just explaining to people what Night of Champions is, because this is something that I think people who are going to go out there are really going to dig.
Oh, it's one of those deals in the traditions of when Lobo football was good around here. Obviously, in 61, 62, and 64, that was probably the greatest tenure of Lobo football because they won 3 conference championships in that time. And then when Coach Franchione was hired in 1992 to take over a program who had won 9 games in the previous 5 years, and that's where I still it's a marathon, not a sprint motto from. That came from Coach Franchione. I was a junior in high school when he was hired, and Mark Paulson, his strength coach, the two of them, they came up with this Night of Champions, and it's a celebration of the off-season workout and guys that work their tails off, not only in the weight room, but in the classroom, in the community, and in every aspect of being a Lobo football player, get the opportunity to perform in front of a bunch of people. Now, I mean, we traditionally, when it first started, before the Todeum was even a building, Coach Fran and LF Todeum, our former trainer, they're the ones who raised the money for this building. We used to have a little, it was almost like, it's really embarrassing. It was a little fenced-in area where they would lift weights, and then Coach Franchione got that changed and built this building. Well, we used to go over to Johnson Gym. We would max all day here and test all day, and then load up a box truck and go over to Johnson Gym and set up a weight room, kind of like what we're going to do out in the stadium today. And the guys would perform over there in front of a decent crowd. About the mid-2000s, during Coach Long's heyday of being the head coach here, there was one night we had over 1,000 people inside the weight room. I mean, obviously we couldn't do that today with COVID, but possibly next year or the year after. But it's loud, it's environment that the adrenaline gets going, and guys probably push more weight on that night by 15 to 20 pounds than they would normally. And when they work all off season really hard to get bigger, faster, stronger, which is one of the most important things our program needs right now, it's a great night and a great event to kind of celebrate the end of our spring training session before they get a couple weeks off to start into the summer.
You know, Danny, obviously you want these guys to keep working hard, and that's part of your philosophy is the grind day in and day out. But have you seen kind of a different buzz to that point of guys looking at the Night of Champions and pushing themselves maybe even more so to get ready for this?
No, there's no doubt. And we've shown in team meetings, I've shown them pictures, I've shown them videos of, I mean, I can remember 1995, I was a redshirt sophomore, and we had a D lineman by the name of Buddy Billingsley who was a really good player, was a freshman All-American, and I was spotting in this event. I wasn't competing that night. I was spotting in this event, and we were doing the incline, and he went down on the right side and started to come back up, and the right side came down, and I grabbed the bar, thinking, you know, there's no way he's going to get it. Didn't want him to tear a pec, whatever. He looked over at me like he was going to kill me. And here you are, a sophomore, looking at a junior who's a stud now, player. He looked at me like, what the heck are you doing? And Coach P, thank God Coach Paulson jumped to my rescue and said, great spot, Danny, you know you're good. But that's the competitive nature that we want our guys to have, and that a lot of them are developing. Of it don't matter what you're underneath. That bar is not going to crush me. I mean, if you take that thing off me, I might kill you because I know I could have got it. There was no chance in heck he was going to get that lift. But in his mind, he thought he was. So that's the kind of atmosphere that we are developing here. We missed a whole year of weightlifting because of the pandemic. We had about 4 weeks in the weight room. We started 2 weeks of spring ball, and then COVID hit. And then when we got back in the summer before the whole debacle of not being able to play and having to leave and all that, we were able to lift, but we had to lift individually. So they weren't allowed to spot each other. They weren't allowed to. So you really can't get a whole lot stronger when you can only lift the amount of weight that you know safely you can get off of yourself. So we missed a whole year not lifting in Las Vegas, and so the biggest thing is getting stronger, and our guys are actually seeing now the results from testing yesterday, today, and tomorrow, what this last 6 weeks has been about in the weight room. And there's a lot of they're walking around with a little pep in their step, which is good. We want them to have some confidence, and I think there's a big difference between being cocky and confident, and they're starting to figure out, oh, we can lift some weights. We are getting kind of strong. And then some of the other things we do, the toughness aspect of it, you don't have to be the strongest guy to be the toughest guy. We're putting them through a whole bunch of those, pushing them further than they think they can go to get to the toughness aspect of it, to become the toughest team in our league.
Now, Danny, to that point, I know there are no excuses. You guys did finish the season coming together, 2 wins, but what kind of effect does it have on an athlete with the strength and conditioning struggles that you had just with what you were able to deal with in Las Vegas?
You know, I agree. I mean, with the credit to our kids, they didn't make any excuses. I mean, we did a lot of band exercises and stuff when we were in Vegas. We didn't maintain a whole lot of strength, but they didn't use that. They didn't worry about it. It was the situation that was handed to us, so they just dealt with it. And we did get better as a football team throughout the season. Obviously, we won the last 2 games because we improved, and they kept believing in what we were doing. They didn't care. I mean, they could have cared less that we weren't lifting weights. as far as nobody used it as an excuse that we were getting pushed around on the field because of that. And I think the toughness aspect that we're talking about kind of displayed itself in the last two games, especially against Wyoming. Wyoming is one of the most physical teams in our league and a team that we aspire to be like every year. And at the end of that ball game, the New Mexico Lobos were the more physical team. And this is going to be billboard material for Coach Bowl and all them. I know, because I said a lot of those things after the game. But you know what? The reality of it is, I don't care what billboard information people put up there, because there was a time when we walked out on the field, everybody knew who the toughest team in this league was. We may not have been the most talented or the best, but they knew who the toughest team was, and that's the way we're headed back to.
I've told that story a lot, Danny. Back when we started the bowl game, and I would go to games, and I remember Kyle Whittingham told me this, Gary Patterson said it, Joe Glenn at the time at Wyoming. They would say, you know, tell me about New Mexico. I'm like, well, what do you mean? He says, God, they're not talented, but they're tough as hell. We know every year we know we're in a physical fight. I know that's what you're trying to get back to. People can come out and watch this tonight, correct?
Oh yes, we want as many people to come and watch this thing. It's going to be in the stadium. They'll be set up over on the west sideline, in the gray area where our team normally would be on game day, and all those bleachers right there in the middle. Anywhere on the west sideline you can sit, and we would like to get as many. And the weather's going to be nice. We had a little rainstorm yesterday afternoon. It's supposed to be clear, 74 degrees at around 6 o'clock tonight. So it's a perfect opportunity if you want to come out and see what your football team has been doing in the weight room and some of those results. I mean, I'd like to get as many people as we can and continue to build this up.
Hey, do you got another segment? I want to talk to you about Teton.
I do.
I know we got to hit this break, and I see Steph kind of getting nervous, looking at me, watching the clock. Do you mind holding through this break, and we come back and talk about the opportunity Teton Saltis has?
Absolutely. I've always got time for you, Jeff. You know that.
No, I appreciate it, Danny. Danny Gonzalez is a UNM football coach. He's going to be with us when we come back, and we'll talk about the opportunity that Teton Saltis, the National Warfel Trophy Award winners, got with the Jets next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer 0 for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out, it needs to be replaced. We're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. They're at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspets.com.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson appreciate Danny Gonzalez sticking around for a little while. Night of Champions tonight, 6 o'clock. You can go out there and see that, and I encourage you to do that for free. And it's going to be a beautiful night out there. Danny, Teton Saltis did not get drafted. He's got an opportunity as a free agent with the Jets. It feels like a good situation. Today's his birthday, by the way, so happy birthday to a spectacular young representative of your program. I'm sure you've talked to him. The opportunity for him feels right. How do you feel about what he's going into?
No, I'm super excited for the opportunity he has. Before the draft, we actually talked about, and I'm a big fan on giving those guys all the information that they need to know before they step into something, and talking about the draft and talking about opportunities. And it's actually more advantageous for Teton not to be drafted in the 6th or 7th round and be able to evaluate. The New York Jets weren't his only opportunity. They were able to look at, okay, this is an opportunity where I have a chance to go in and succeed. And what I explained to those guys, and a lot of guys, they a lot of times they get really dumbfounded by it. But when he gets to New York, he's got to try and take a man's livelihood, the way he feeds his family. I mean, it's that guy's job, his career, and that's what Teton's stepping into. It's not just, hey, they're going to help me make the team. It's, no, you've got to go in there and take away something that somebody uses as their everyday lifestyle. So he's got a great challenge ahead of him, but he's got an opportunity because of where he's going. There's a couple of tackles in the New York organization that I think Teton has a chance to beat out. And then we got another, I know you guys were talking about earlier, Grant Herman's from Rio Rancho High School, another New Mexico product, joining Teton with the Jets. And I think those two, I know both of them. I tried to get both of them at my former school. I think those two can build a friendship and a bond. They already know each other that can help each other be successful in New York together and find a roster spot on that team.
Danny, if you had to throw your Mel Kiper hat on, what would the scouting report be on Teton?
Well, if you watch his tape, the first 4 games, Teton was not very good. Struggled. Partly that was, that's kind of like his fall camp because we didn't practice. The last 3 games, if he would have played all 7 like that, there's no doubt he would have been drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. So I think to his advantage, he has the ability to play at that level. And I see Teton with a great opportunity because of who he is and the perseverance he has finding himself a spot on that team. And I was listening to your show earlier. I agree with Jeff. He was the face of our program in the transition between myself and Coach Davey. And a very, very proud face that New Mexico and New Mexicans can relate with, and I'm proud that he was part of our team, and I'm super excited for the opportunity that he has ahead of him. It's going to be a lot of work, but he's got that work ethic in him.
Danny, I just think of a young man
name
who
is Gonzalez, not Brown.
embraced it, did not run from it. Some guys are thrust in the spotlight because there's nobody else, or what. He not only did the right things, he did it the right way. He not only said the right things, he said them the right way. He embraced it. He was there, like that's who you want. And the fact that he's from Valley High School and that his family, his heritage, all those things. But you couldn't have asked for a better representative for this program during that transition.
No, you really couldn't. And the things that transpired here before I got here, I mean, obviously with Najee, Teton was the backbone of really for this team, and followed through, and then through everything else. I mean, through the transition and I agree. I think you said it, Jeff, and I hope Heather's listening. Teton is a Valley Viking, and Valley Vikings, they seem to strive in this community. I mean, I know she's from El Dorado and whatever those big guys are up there, but I'm really excited about what Teton's opportunity has, where he came from, and where he's going.
Been a decent run over at UNM, huh? And I know you're the biggest cheerleader out there for all those trophies that have been coming in.
Oh, I'm so proud of what we're doing around here, and really, I want to take the opportunity to give Eddie and David Williams so much credit. I mean, Eddie obviously took over in 2017, and he took over. I mean, obviously, ADs like to hire their own guys, and instead of just cleaning the cupboard and starting over and putting even more debt, Eddie really evaluated what was going on with our university, and really, I think he did it the right way, and he's made decisions over time. We're starting a new era. I mean, obviously, the 6 championships, we're the kings of the Mountain West right now. We have the most championships for this season. But I think the more miraculous thing and the whole we're all in this together, and I like to say thank you to all of those sports that just won championships, because when football was competing in the fall, they did not compete. They went home. We sent those athletes home and so that the football team would have the opportunity to compete. I'm very thankful for that. And now they went out and won a bunch of championships. So we're headed in the right direction here in New Mexico. We will win a 5th conference championship. We'll win a conference championship. I mean, look what Coach Patino is doing with the basketball program. And I heard another caller, do I have scholarships too? I'm going to give as many scholarships as I can to Coach Patino, recruiting big players. Because you want to be a great coach, have great players.
Danny, have fun tonight. It's always great talking to you. 6 o'clock, get out to the stadium. It is free of charge for the Nevada Champions. We'll see you out there tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Go Lobos.
Danny Gonzalez on 95.9 FM, AM 670 Sports Animal.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sports shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Like Lauren McKinley with the ball right there, just into the game, banks one off the window.
Lovato spins. Lovato going to get all the way to the basket over Gilliford. It's the ball handler. Lovato's so good he only needs one shoe. Seiss just picked his pocket, transition, and one on a strong finish for Gabe Seiss.
He will smack that one to center field. This one's going, it's going, and that is home run for Kiana King. For today, 2 games. 4 official at-bats. She has 4 home runs. King adding more to the board.
Back to Stanridge. Stanridge going to go strong. No, look, underneath. Beautiful pass there to Ethan Chavez. No good. Offensive rebound for Ayers, and he beats the horn. Exodus Ayers steals the offensive board, and he beats the buzzer, and we got a 1-point game here. District on the line at Sandia. It's halftime here on ProView Network. Lovato trying to go all the way. Lovato, tough angle. It's going to count. And it's a chance at a 3-point play for Lovato.
Steal by Wade. Wade will slam it in transit. Touch the ball for them. And, big look. Pacheco, the lob, slam dunk. The lob to Wade, it's a slam dunk and a timeout. Valley right away, and great job by Pacheco in finding Wade in the open court. Ladies, how does it feel? Let's come in here a little bit. How does it feel to hit the 1,000-point mark here at Volcano Vista? Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Yeah! Say hi to everybody. You bet.
Drive, Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck. Mike, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody.
Now, voted the best sports show in New Mexico for 5 years running. This is the opening drive with 2-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Siembieda, and JJ Buck.
Now, I hope you enjoyed that. I always enjoyed Danny coming on. And, somebody just texted me something about it. And I said, what Danny does in some respects is it's the right message. A lot of what we were saying about Teton, but it's unprompted and unsolicited. Like Danny's from here. He understands what the answers meant to this not meant. I don't necessarily, well, maybe meant is different than mean now. And a guy that grew up here, and his stories matter. I think his perspective on the answers, and that's really what's important right now with Bobby passing on Sunday. It just so often it's the right message, the right way, and it's unsolicited. And whether he wins or he doesn't, like he's setting the tone of representing. And am I a little biased on Danny? I think I am, because I like him, and but it's refreshing, man. It's what was needed around here.
Yes, and it's a situation too for Danny. It's a reminder that, to your point, whatever happens at the University of New Mexico, this is his city, this is his state. And it's not an act. Like, this is who he is. He grew up here. He has those connections. Who else is going to have like unser stories like that? No other football coach that's probably been at the University of New Mexico. Maybe Rocky Long, we found out. Though, how about that? Talk to Rocky about that one. Rocky Long, Indy 500 champion.
Rick Gallis put Rocky to work on that team. I did not know that.
No
story.
idea. But it's things like that. That's who Danny is. That's what he's bringing to the table. And he's all in. And when he talks about this university, he means it. When he brought his football team out to that Mountain West Conference final for women's soccer, like, that mattered. People noticed that. After the game, he brought his daughters over to take a picture with Jaden Edwards. Like, that is real. Like, he wants that connection. He believes it. And it resonates, and people see that. And ultimately, it's still a results business, but he's someone that, regardless of that record, is always going to have a connection, is always going to have a place in this community. And it's nice when you can get back to looking at the impact that people can have from this state. Because I will say, there's a couple Cibola Cougars that were pretty darn good on that Lobo roster, too, the Cook brothers. So
the Valley Vikings are doing all right, too, but put some Cougars at the top. Look, this is, I'm going to equate this. You've got the couple of emailers, Gene and Maurice, and who have been really critical of, I think there's somebody else, of Ray Birmingham. And one of the reasons I think he's as beloved as he is somewhat like this. You don't fake that, okay? Ray is loved on New Mexico, and I think New Mexicans have loved back on him. He's had some success. Now, not the modicum of success, the level of success that he had hoped for, meaning getting to Omaha. But you don't fake that. And in this place in particular, and I think in most places, but in this place in particular, if you are true about and sincere about your love for this place, and you don't have to be born and bred here. Rocky Long wasn't born and raised in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but he came here, he went to school here, he fell in love with this place, went away and came back a couple of times. Okay, I think his love for this place is pretty sincere. There's other people, you don't have to be from here, but those two guys are New Mexicans who love this place, and so there is something about it. So for the guys who say, why does he get a pass? I think it's like you hear all the time, when Baseball Hall of Fame comes up. Well, the writers have a bias. Well, yeah, I think as human beings we have a bias. You have a bias towards people that you feel are genuine, and I think what Danny and Ray Birmingham, and they're not exclusive in this, but those two gentlemen and Rocky did the same thing. They have a genuine love for this place. And the fact that Danny's out there at all these other events, and he's cheerleading at these events, and his family's there, and he's got his team there, and bringing back some of the traditions and doing all the things outward in this community, yeah, he's gonna get cut more slack than somebody who might not do that.
Yes, ultimately though, when it comes to football and basketball, it's not going to have the same. We're not dissecting a series loss on Monday morning like we would with baseball, because it's Rocky Long at the end, and it could feel great, and then you just don't know the other factors that then become involved. And
let me ask you this: you and I have been doing this show. I've been doing this show for 12 and a half years. I've been doing something in this market for the last 25. You and I've been doing it together, I want to say, for the last 9. So when in the last, pick your number of years, has your football coach, your football team been in the news so prominently, for positive reasons, between December and July?
I can't recall one consistently.
That's right. And that's what's going on, and that's the positivity here. 505-246-0610. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Rudy.
Hey, good morning. Talk about memories. Everybody who grew up in Albuquerque got to know the Unser family one way or another. And strangely enough, in Bobby's retirement years, he took a fascination to my legal assistant. So I'd be at the bar, and I'd get to sit there and talk to Bobby Unser. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And Al Jr., I attended some of his parties, and you just know those people because they were part and parcel of the community. They were the fabric. They didn't sit in a chair in the back of a restaurant and wait for people to come up and talk to them. They went up and talked to you. That's the way they were. And I think that's why they were so popular. And you knew that day was coming, but rest in peace, Bobby, because you were one of a kind. And I remember how it was switching to UNM when I was a kid growing up. One of my first memories was looking at Lobo football jersey and seeing the Zia Sun symbols on the shoulders from my next-door neighbor, Joe Vivian, who happened to play on those championship teams in 62, 63, and 64. So I was a kid, 8, 9, 10 years old, and I just thought that's what the Lobos did, is, be part of the community, wear their jerseys every Friday on game week, and it really was, UNM was a huge part of this community. And I think that's what they're getting back to because it should be a huge part of this community. And it always hasn't been that way. And there were a lot of people that really just lost interest in UNM. And, I think what Danny learned from Fran and from Rocky and from being a coach and being around here is that athletics is the front porch of your home. Yep. And you want it to be inviting and you want people to come in and see what else is in your house. And I think that's what athletics has always done. It gets people interested in your school. So, some great memories this morning, guys. Thanks.
No, it's good. Thanks, Rudy. Rudy called at 505-246-0610. John, good morning. You're up next on the opening drive. Hello, John.
Good morning, opening drive. How you guys doing?
Excellent. How you doing?
That was a great call right there by Rudy. He's a good friend of mine, so I echo his sentiments. UNM, the Unsers, it was a great big part of our family growing up. We had 9 kids, and my next door neighbor, they had 7 boys, and we all loved Lobo football. I remember playing Rocky Long, and my brother was Sam Scarborough, and my next door neighbor was Fred Henry, and we would, all the great Lobo names when we were growing up. And I just love to hear Danny Gonzalez talk. He inspires. I can't wait to interview him again because he just makes me, the confidence level goes up. He gets me excited about local sports again. And just like you had said earlier, it was sorely needed in this community. And as far as Bobby Unser, I know the Unser family, not as good as some people, but I have met Al, Bobby, and Al Jr. And one story about Bobby Unser that kind of gets lost is this 1981 victory was a rain-shortened race, and he got flagged for passing cars on a caution lap. And even though he won the race on the track, they reviewed the race, and then they put him down one position and gave the race to Mario Andretti. And then they re-reviewed it, and they gave Bobby back the victory. So I don't know if anybody remembers that. Anyway,
Wow,
that's all I got to say, and I'll listen to your comments.
No, that's good, John. Thanks. I don't know that I knew that story. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, I don't. This is my favorite part of this kind of stuff is people's recollections. Bobby took a liking to my legal assistant, so I got to hang out with him at the bar, and that kind of stuff. I mean, I've heard so many of these over the years. The humanizing stuff that family was, and JJ, I kind of told this when Bob was on, but. Bob was so tight with him. I got bad respect for Bob Brown, who was our guest earlier today. But Bob introduced me to so many people when I first got here in this community, and he took me the first time to meet Big Al. and to meet Bobby. And Bobby was intimidating. Now, Bobby was super outspoken, very verbose, very opinionated, and it kind of busted my stuff a little bit. And it was, I guess that was endearing. I guess, it was, but I appreciated it. I remember he took me out to the Gallus racing. The first time I met Rick Gallus and Little Al, and the same way. These were superstars, JJ. These were international superstars. I mean, the Indy Racing League, and before that, Indy Racing was a big deal internationally, and the biggest name. I mean, it was the Andrettis, the Unsers, and the Foyts, in whatever order you want to put them in, were based right here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And so they were international superstars that were so unassuming. And you'd walk into a restaurant or walk into an event, and if you didn't know, you wouldn't know that they were international stars. And they meant a lot to this town. So it's kind of cool hearing these stories. I really enjoy them. I really do.
It is very cool. And it's a reminder of the connection that sports can make across the board, whether it's people from this state or people that become adopted representatives of this state because of said sport or the decision that they make and how impactful it can be.
Yeah, and you got a pride and to your point, positive impact in a community that then and now needs positive impact, right? And something to be proud of. So, yeah, if you got Unser stories, I'd love to hear them. I had no idea that what did Danny tell us? 90, whatever the year was, that 92? Rocky Long. I thought that's what he said, that Rick Gallus put Rocky to work on his team. And then Danny's dad owned the Firestone stores and had those relationships. Everybody is probably a degree separated, if that much. So I'd love to hear your stories. 505-246-0610.
Speaking of Night of Champions, have you thought about making yourself a champion? Well, let me tell you about F45 Functional Fitness, because F45 has helped me feel like, you know what? Maybe I could go out there. Now, I'm not going to set any records, but I have the confidence now in myself that exercising, it's going to trickle over to the rest of my life. And living a healthy lifestyle can help you with your crazy lifestyle. And with F45, you get a great workout in just 45 minutes. And that's what I love about it. It's a manageable time frame, and you're going to find a class. They have classes available 7 days a week that fits in your schedule so you can become a champion once again. I took a redshirt season last year. It was tough. We were focusing on a lot of other things. But when everything shut down, the motivation to work out at home, I just didn't have it. But getting back to the gym, especially F45 with the full body functional fitness, different workouts. Yesterday, we hit Redline. It was 9 stations, 5 sets at each. We're talking intervals. It was 20, 20, 30, 50, 50. And boy, I felt like I just ran a marathon when I was done. But it's what it puts your body through, the different exercises to get you to that point. And then today, if you go into F45, it's more of a strength-based workout circuit. And that's what I like about it too, is you don't have to just sit there and write it down. It's you go in, the workout's there for you, can focus on getting the best out of it in that 45-minute time frame. Check them out at F45training.com. Download the F45 app. Check out the Northeast Heights locations, 5920 Holly Northeast. Look at the schedule of classes. Sign up for your 7-day free trial. Get in the gym and get that motivation back to become a champion and better yourself in your hectic life. You know what? Fit it in, and then everything else, you're going to feel a little bit better about what you got to do. So join me at F45. Let me know if you sign up for a class. We'll take one together, because you got to book it on the app. Still managing class sizes so you can be comfortable and focused on a great workout. So check them out, F45training.com. Download the F45 app. Team training, life-changing. I'll see you at F45.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah. Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number one in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Datacom is the manufacturer's representative for the states of Arizona and New Mexico. Datacom represents Fuji Electric for uninterruptible power systems and Layer Zero for static switches and power distribution units. High-Tech Power Protection manufactures dynamic rotary UPS systems up to 3.6 megawatts, individual and 100 megawatts by combining multiple units. Call Louis Ruffin today at 505-507-7722 or go to datacom.com to learn more.
Dream Style Roofing tops them all. When your roof's worn out and needs to be replaced, we're gonna do it right, put a smile on your face. There at home, things are looking up when you get your roof done by someone you can trust. Dream Style, a company name that's been around forever. No one does it better. You need a new roof, you know who to call. Dream Style Roofing tops them all.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
So you going to take that F-45 and head out and be Night of Champion guy?
Get it.
Yeah, boy. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda and JJ Buck. You can get in. Love your answer stories, by the way. They're terrific. 246-0610 if you want to jump in on that, you can. All right, Terry Bradshaw on Aaron Rodgers. Everybody's got an Aaron Rodgers take, okay? The prevailing one seems to be, well, can you blame him? They've done him dirty. They drafted a quarterback. They didn't draft him any weapons. He doesn't get along with the GM. He didn't get along. I mean, of course, poor Aaron. Let him go beyond jeopardy. That's the popular take. I know it's not yours. Yours is whatever. I think, right? I mean, you're kind of on the. You're not buying that, right?
No, I am perplexed by this situation. That's why I want to know a little bit more about where is the rub. Because if you're Aaron Rodgers, you can be like, oh, I don't really like the draft pick of Jordan Love, but you're Aaron Rodgers. You're the NFL MVP. Like, get over it. Like, deal with it. You just went out there and were a couple plays away from the Super Bowl. So it can't just be drafting Jordan Love. So what is it? Because that's a good football team. You should be in the same position next year. So is it a bad relationship with the coach? Is it a bad relationship with the GM? What's going on?
Yeah, is it the fact that you drafted my replacement? Is it the fact that you drafted my replacement and didn't get me any help? Is it fact that you drafted my replacement and didn't get me any help, and I'm still in my freaking prime? I just won the MVP. Like, is it all of that?
Yeah. And the help one bothers me.
Why?
They were like a player 2 away from beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were not outmatched on that field. It wasn't, oh man, they can't be in this game. It was a decision of, should you have just went for it instead of kicking a field goal? Like, that's how close they were.
And maybe that's what he's pissed off about.
Yeah.
Maybe he's pissed off that they made the wrong decision. Look, all of what you said is right, but that doesn't disqualify that they've never really gone out and gotten him any help. And I think he's seeing, well, Tommy goes down there. Well, he wanted Gronk, they got him Gronk. He wanted AB, they got him AB. He wanted to re-sign Chris Godwin, they re-signed Chris Godwin. Like, he's going, that guy's getting all the toys he wants. Look what Mahomes got. They keep getting him more toys. Look at LA. They get Stafford more. Like, I think what you said is right, but it's not wrong to say that they have not gone out and made it a priority to get him more weapons.
True, but it's also one where Tom Brady went to a situation where those were extra. Like, that team was built. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans were there.
Yeah.
And Gronk wasn't going anywhere else than Tampa Bay. So that's not one where you can blame everyone else. Why didn't you get Rob Gronkowski? He was going with Tom Brady. And Tampa Bay. Antonio Brown was out there, but I don't blame other teams for passing on Antonio Brown. I wouldn't want that mess. I'm sorry, I wouldn't.
I'm not talking specifically those guys. I'm talking about guys.
What everyone talks about.
Yeah, no, because those are the guys that Tommy got. Why couldn't they find guys for Aaron? And I think that's part of the conversation. All right, so Terry Bradshaw has a different take. The not former, he'll always be a 4-time Super Bowl champion quarterback, who's Fox is one of their lead studio hosts. Quote, him being upset shows me how weak he is. Who the hell cares who you draft? He's a 3-time MVP in the league, and he's worried about this guy they drafted last year at number 1. And for him to be upset, my God, I don't understand that. Pittsburgh drafted Mark Malone number 1, Cliff Stout in the 3rd or 4th round. I had them coming at me from all angles. I embraced it because when I went to practice, I wasn't worried about those guys. They didn't scare me a bit, so I don't understand why he's so upset at Green Bay. I wouldn't. That was the end of the quote. Then he was asked, what would he do if he was running Green Bay? Quote, I wouldn't budge. Let him gripe. Let him cry. Retire. You're 38. Go ahead and retire. See you later. I'm really strong about stuff like that. It makes me it just makes him look weak. In my way of looking things, it makes him look weak, end quote. Terry Bradshaw got a point?
I think he has a point when it comes to Jordan Love. If there's other things that are upsetting Aaron Rodgers, well, then it feels like you could address that with management. Before it gets to the point of saying you don't want to play there anymore. And that's why I just feel like there's something more than just the Jordan Love situation. And you went out there and proved Jordan Love ain't going to be the guy for a few more years, that your team was still good enough to get to that point. And maybe that is sending the message, hey, let's invest in a couple of these veteran guys. But other than that, that's why I want to know more. And I don't know what the exact specifics are, because it's hard to wrap my head around. It can't just be you drafted Jordan Love. Because in the 2nd round, they drafted a running back. Now it's like it's not necessarily great, but they win an offense player. And then they drafted a tight end in the 3rd round.
Yeah. So you're right. What's he worried about Jordan Love for? He's Aaron freaking Rodgers. Like, honestly, if they would have drafted Trevor Lawrence, he's still better. He's still the best quarterback on that team. If they'd have drafted Justin Fields or right, it doesn't matter. Who was number 1 last year? Joe Burrow. If they'd have drafted it wouldn't matter. You're Aaron freaking Rodgers. You're better than anybody, but maybe you beat out anybody but maybe one guy on the planet on quarterback. The only guy that might join your team that might beat you out might be Patrick Mahomes. Any other quarterback joining a team that's beating out Aaron Rodgers for playing time? You got a guy on the planet right
now?
Because I don't. So I'm not worried about that. By the way, this is a guy who was drafted and Brett Favre was on the team, kind of the same deal, and Brett Favre's going, really? Now, maybe he saw what happened to Brett Favre and the way this exact organization treated Brett Favre, and he sees the writing on the wall and says, well, I'm next, and they're gonna squeeze me out. So to me, that's the angle I see it from. Damn, they did it to that dude, and now they're doing me the same way. And it sucked for him, and it's going to suck for me. And now am I going to bounce around from the Jets to the Vikings to wherever? And he doesn't want that mess. That's for me where I see him coming from. But as far as, do I care that they drafted Jordan Love? Look, the last thing he's worried about is beating out Jordan Love. Now, if you want to tell me he's worried about them pushing him out, because granted, different front office, but same organization. They did it to the guy that gave him the position. All right, that's how I see the angle. That's the only way I see it. Damn, I did it to that dude. Now they're going to do it to me.
And that makes sense. He's like, I just went through this. That's how I became a Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Packers, and they're going to try to do the same thing with Jordan Love in this situation. So I can see it from that perspective. It's the overall of, all right, when is my time going to be up? When are they going to think I'm not going to be the guy anymore? And maybe he's just trying to get ahead of it, so where he obviously is controlling the decision as opposed to Green Bay, because I do look at it and, all right, you drafted Jordan Love, but then I also like, you really think like it's going to happen twice? Like you're going to be able to
Why not?
go back to back with generational quarterbacks and it work? No, but it happened, so it's like, why not try it again? But to what you kind of got back to, I think it's just the overall view of it, not necessarily in the moment going, no, I don't have enough. You were like 2 plays away from the Super Bowl, so you have enough to win there. It is, what does this mean over the next couple of years?
Yeah, they've had as good a run a quarterback as, I mean, I think Joe Montana and Steve Young. I think Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Give me another one that have gone back to back like that. You got another one? Like one franchise with 2 quarterbacks that have been their guy for a decade or longer that you're like, that they won a Super Bowl with, that they've contended almost every year. You got one? I got Montana and Young, and I got Favre and Rodgers. You got another one? What am I missing?
The ones that immediately jump out?
I mean, tell me what I'm missing. Sanchez and Darnold? No, that probably doesn't work. I mean, help me. Because I don't have it. I Smith and Heineke. It's not there. 505-246-0610. Where are you on Aaron Rodgers? Is this one of those shut up, man? You're making a bunch of money. You're under contract. Because I will tell you this. If I'm the Packers, I'm not trading him unless Denver comes at me with 3 firsts, a receiver named Jerry Jeudy, and a quarterback to get me through this year. You come at me with 3 firsts. You say the next 3 years first. Boom, boom, boom. 22, 23, 24, first round. Last year's first, Jerry Jeudy. I need Teddy Bridgewater to get me through this year. And sprinkle something else in, I might listen. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal and ProView Networks.
Here's your Malloy Nissan 4K a day keyword for this hour. Bucks, B-U-C-K-S. Text it to 95819 to qualify to win.
K240BL. Albuquerque. 95.9 FM. 610 KNML. Albuquerque.
Okay, my shipments have to get to customers on time and looking good.
It's possible with Staples Connect. Staples Connect has small business shipping covered with premium shipping supplies, custom labels, and UPS shipping services. And now, buy 2, get 1 free on decorative shipping supplies. Plus, get 20% off UPS Express shipping services. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Ends 5/29. Visit staplesconnect.com/shipping for details.
Sorry to interrupt your jams, murder mystery podcasts, or motivational beach noises, but we got something else you might like to hear. It's called cash. That's the sound of an extra $250 after your first 10 deliveries.
Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on
Just
Facebook.
Came in from Ryan, and I didn't look it up because I trust him. Did you know this, JJ? No Packers quarterback has played more than 16 years for the team. Bart Starr was 16 years. Brett Favre was 16 years, and Rodgers is at 16 right now. He's had fact-checked. Rodgers has started 13 years, but been there 16 years. It's a little creepy, isn't it?
It's a long time.
Well, it is a long time, but both Favre and when he was done, obviously had something left in him. I can't recall when Bart Starr left. That was a little bit before me. At 16 years now, I guarantee you Aaron Rodgers has something left in him. That guy's the reigning league MVP. I also know this. No reigning MVP has been traded the year that after he was MVP, and I think it was two MVPs played for different teams, like Norm Van Brocklin and somebody else played on a different team the following year. What do you do? If you are the Packers, do you? I mean, I just threw a trade at you that is I don't know. Bronco fan may tell me I'm crazy. You can't give him that much. Packer fan might say that's crazy. We can't take that. We're on the brink of them. We were in the NFC Championship last year. We're not breaking this thing up. I mean, what would you do if you're them?
It comes down to what is Aaron Rodgers' true feelings on this? Is this just something where he wants to make a statement, he's pushing back, and ultimately somehow, some way out of this, they drop a huge new signing bonus on him, give him a chunk of change for the next couple of years to get him by and make him happy? Or is he really just straight up done with Green Bay? And he's like, I see the writing on the wall. I don't want to go through this, so I'm jumping out there right now. And that's what decides it. Because ultimately, if you're Green Bay, you're like, no, this is our chance right now to get everything out of Aaron Rodgers and know that once we get to the end, that's the end. Because, like I said, you're not going to strike lightning in a bottle twice. You're not going to get out maybe even just a little bit too early on Aaron Rodgers and be like, well, we have 3 quarterbacks in a row that are generational franchise talents. So ultimately, Green Bay, I get them not budging. What it comes down to, what are their true feelings about Aaron Rodgers? When they're sitting back there, it's the GM, it's Matt LaFleur. They're away from the cameras. They're not having to sell it. Like, do they believe that guy is in? And that's going to make that decision.
So here's the deal. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, and he will at some point, he's going to be done. Green Bay's trying to plan their future. They thought it was Jordan Love. And look, JJ, it might be. I mean, we've heard nothing from Jordan Love. I know you're not high on him. But who knows? They obviously were. I don't think you remember this because this may be, this is what we're going back. Green Bay was horrible. Before Brett Favre got there, the Packers were horrible. There was a decade and a half, 2 decades, where it was a wasteland. Who was going to Green Bay? Smallest market in the NFL, coldest market in the NFL. Well, Minneapolis might be colder, but they play indoors, right? And they weren't getting free agents. They were bad. For Green Bay to continue their run of recent success, and that's what it's been. And they've been very, very fortunate from going from Favre to Rodgers. Most likely, they're going to have to draft a quarterback that's going to succeed. Now, I can't tell you a franchise that I in my memory that's gone 1, 2, 3 really good, really successful championship quarterbacks in a row. Green Bay, this is why I hold on to them as long as I can, because they are on the verge of being irrelevant when he leaves. JJ, they were horrible. It was the last place anybody in the league wanted to go. Why would you want to go there? Great fan base. You get to play at Lambeau Field. Yeah, you know how damn cold it is? Do I want to go to Miami? Do I want to go to Tampa Bay? Do I want to go to LA? Or do I want to go to Green Bay? And where do I want to live in the winter? And then all of a sudden they got good and they started winning championship. People want to go there, right? You get a Hall of Fame defensive lineman and you get a Hall of Fame quarterback and you start winning. All of a sudden people want to be part of it. I think they need to hold on to this as long as they can. And look, if Jordan Love is the guy, that's great. He'll be there when it's his term. And if he's not, they better find somebody. But I think the fear of becoming irrelevant and not very good when this guy's gone is real for them.
And that is why the value of quarterbacks is inflated in the draft. What you just said about Green Bay is what all these other franchises are chasing, because they know that's the piece that can change the tide, that can make you competitive and get people interest. Now, the NFL is not as dramatic as the NBA, because if you got money, you hand out contracts, those dudes are going to go play everywhere. Because the last time I checked, too, some of those places that you mentioned haven't been good football teams either for a while, even though the weather's nice. But it's easier to sell that when you have the quarterback.
Yeah, and for how long, right? I mean, you're right. I'm not telling you it's all about the weather. That's hardly what I'm telling you. But I am saying that they were irrelevant, and that was part of it for a long time. They were a horrible franchise and horrible team. And I just wonder. I just wonder as we sit here and talk about, what would they take for him? I don't know. What are 3 draft picks going to get you? I mean, what's the Broncos pick going to be next year? So you have your pick and their pick.
It's not going to be a great one if you think Aaron Rodgers is good. But this is the thing: you when you're trading a superstar level player, all you can get is hope in return. You do not get fair compensation. You just hope you get a chance at drafting something. And to your point, if Aaron Rodgers is still this dude, and you think, well, if he goes to Denver, they're a playoff football team, you're getting what, a 20s pick back?
All right, but so would yours and theirs? So let's say yours is, would a teens and a 20 be something to move up to get a quarterback next year? And who's in the class next year? Or is it Jordan Love? Like the issues, and it just exemplifies why I wouldn't do anything. I've got a guy who's an MVP. And my options are question mark, including the guy who's sitting there. Well, you jumped up to draft him last year. Yeah, I did. And he's a question mark. And the guy who's holding out is my guy, and he's under contract. He's playing for me, or he's not playing for anybody else. Now, if you want to come in and wow me and blow my socks off, and I'll listen to you. And if it gets to a point where he's absolutely not going to play, do I say, all right, do I get this haul or let him walk? But if you're asking me, I'm riding this thing out as long as I can. I'm right sitting down with him and doing everything I've got to do to sit down with this guy and say, look, what's the issue, man? It's that guy. You're a jerk, or he's a jerk, or I don't like him, or you guys didn't get me weapons. All right, let's fix it, dude. What do we got to do? What do we got to do? I got to fly you to Jeopardy? Do we have to? What? I mean, do you want me to call you Alex? Like, what do we have to do? Do we have to? Is your audibles instead of Omaha? It's gonna be, who is Abraham Lincoln? Who is Abraham Lincoln? Whatever. I mean, what do we got to do? Disgruntled football stars for 500, Aaron. What do we got to do?
Right, you write it out as long as possible, and the final decision is going to be made by Aaron Rodgers, because it's easy to sit back and say, hey, fine, you don't want to play, you sit out. But then also, what value is your franchise getting out of that? You're trying to stick it to Aaron Rodgers, but then you're also hurting yourself. So
this is a game of chicken.
Right, this is going to play out for a while. And this could be something that we look right before camp. We're going to be like, all right, boom, we got this far. This is where we're going, but it's not going to be decided by this weekend.
It's a hell of a game of chicken. Hey, well, they sit around and wait. They may wait too long. I encourage you not to wait until something bad happens to call IPS and hire them and have them come and watch your home. International Protective Service is armed response, armed trained security officers who are local and been doing business in Albuquerque and Santa Fe for over 15 years. Aaron Jones started the company here. He's passionate about here, passionate about making Albuquerque a better and a safer place to live. They're not going anywhere. They're not selling out. And I know that's important to you to have your home security with a local company. Look, I called them years ago, and it gives me peace of mind. I see them do a patrol on a daily basis. I was out of town a week and a half ago. The security cameras showed them coming by every day, checking the property. I asked them to roll the garbage cans to the curb and back. Monday was garbage day. They did that for me. If you have a newspaper, mail pickup, they will pick up the mail. If a package gets dropped off, they'll hold that for you so the porch pirates don't get it. They keep the bad guys away. And right now, security is a big deal. I suggest IPS. They are spectacular at what they do. And if your alarm goes off, they monitor your alarm. Home alarm goes off, they respond. They're there within 5 to 7 minutes with armed, trained security officers. Don't wait until it's too late. Call International Protective Service. The phone number is 505-897-2420. That's 505-897-2420, or visit them online at ipsglobal.com.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
Next in line.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Extreme Clean is a proud sponsor and supporter of ProView Networks and all high school sports athletics. Owner Mike McLean and Extreme Clean specialize in carpet cleaning for apartment, realty, business, and residential clients. With over 20 years experience, attention to detail and quality customer service matters. For more information, give them a call, 505-221-6440, Extreme Clean.
Like Lauren McKinley with the ball right there, just into the game. Banks one off the window.
Lovato spins. Lovato going to get all the way to the basket over Gilliford. It's the ball handler. Lovato's so good he only needs one shoe. Seiss just picked his pocket. Transition and one on a strong finish for Gabe Seiss.
He will smack that one to center field. This one's going. It's going. And that is home run for Kiana King. For today, 2 games, 4 official at-bats. She has 4 home runs. King adding more to the board.
Back to Stanridge. Stanridge going to go strong. No, look, underneath. Beautiful pass there to Ethan Chavez. Mauer's free throw's no good. Offensive rebound for Ayers, and he beats the horn. Exodus Ayers steals the offensive board, and he beats the buzzer, and we got a 1-point game here. District on the line at Sandia. It's halftime here on ProView Network. Lovato trying to go all the way. Lovato, tough angle, it's going to count, and it's a chance at a 3-point play for Lovato.
Steal by Wade. Wade will slam it in transition.
Touch the ball for them, and big look.
Pacheco, the lob, slam dunk. The lob to Wade, and it's a slam dunk and a timeout. Valley right away, and great job by Pacheco in finding Wade in the open court.
Ladies, how does it feel? Let's come in here a little bit. How does it feel to hit the 1,000 point mark here at Volcano Vista? Look at the cameras. Look at the cameras.
Yeah!
Say hi to everybody. You bet.
We get Yankees and Astros tonight. JJ, we're 2 days away from opening day out at Ice Stubbs Park. Josh Susha, maybe we should get Josh on tomorrow. Is that probably something? I mean, you know, the voice of your Albuquerque Ice Stubbs, they got a roster out, kind of catch up with Joshua Sushan as baseball returns, pro sports return to the Duke City. Looking forward to that. And of course, the games will be here in your home for Albuquerque Isotopes Baseball, 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Aaron's producing on the TV side today. You can watch our shows on ProView Networks. I encourage you to check them out for all their state basketball coverage. State tournaments underway. Sebastian Noel will be with us tomorrow. 9 o'clock, we'll talk about that. Steph has been producing in that empty chair that you see right there on the TV or on the radio side. And JJ, maybe we'll see everybody soon, from what I understand. Like live and in person.
Maybe.
If they have coffee. I ain't going back if they don't have coffee.
That's the biggest thing for me, if they have coffee. I do not think I want to uproot my routine if there's not any coffee available.
I'm right there with you. Terry, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Hello, Terry.
Good morning, Jeff. Good morning, JJ. Hope everything's going well with you guys. It's kind of sad. It takes a passing to bring back memories, but that's how it goes sometimes. I remember back, I'm pretty sure it was 1969, there was a teacher strike, and I was in elementary school, and we talked them into wheeling a TV into the room so that we could watch the Indy 500 because we actually had to go to school on Memorial Day. And back then, it was just Memorial Day was whatever day it was. And it was early 70s that they made it last Monday, and then the mid-70s they changed the Indy 500 to always on a Sunday. But, yeah, we were watching it, and he won. And then they took it away and gave it to Andretti and then gave it back to him. I read it in the paper when he won his appeal. But the Unser family, good 25 years, it was like we're going to, watch the Unsers race and we're going to hear Jim Neighbors sing before the race started. And, those were special times, and it was great for Albuquerque because thinking back then, early 70s is when the balloon fiesta barely kicked off, and we had maybe 15 balloons. And, it just from that, Al winning his 4, Junior winning his 2. But, it was great for the city and very special from that situation. So a lot of good memories thinking back on that. When CART and Indy split, I lost my interest in the 500. But, I occasionally turn it in. But on to Mr. Aaron Rodgers, I don't consider Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love the same because Rodgers was potentially a first or second pick that dropped to the 20s, and Love was mid to late first round where the GM decided he was going to move up and give up an extra pick to get Jordan Love. I hope Rodgers sticks to his guns. If he's not wanted, let him throw Jordan Love out there. And, he had put out that either fire the GM or trade him. If I was Ted Thompson, the president, I'd fire the GM in a heartbeat. You can find those a dime a dozen. Can you find a Hall of Fame quarterback? I don't know. But, Favre in his last few years was always saying, I think I'm going to retire, and he would not want to come to the early training camps. And, so I think then when they finally turned to Rodgers. But, from that, the memories of the Unsers, it's out again. Somebody has to pass. But you guys have a wonderful day. Be safe. Stephanie's doing a great job. I think you need to give her a raise. So you guys take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Terry. I think they want him there. I think they're making it pretty clear they want him there. They wasn't there a minute where Jordan Love was being considered a top few pick? Wasn't that part of the conversation at some point?
A first-round pick, but he wasn't in the class of even Aaron Rodgers coming out. Because I think Love is a intriguing prospect, but it's not even. He was never talked about as going number 1 overall.
Okay. And Aaron Rodgers he slipped to like 23rd or something. Ben, good morning. You're on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good day, Ben.
Yeah, thank you for taking my call at the last second. I was just going to piggyback on through what the previous caller was saying in regards to the Unsers. And not only are they legends at Indy with a combined 9, but in regards to the Pike Peak International Hill Climb, which is up in Colorado Springs, they've won over 20 as a family, and I think Bobby won either 11 or 13. And if you want to check that out, it's actually one of the coolest things ever. They start at the bottom of Pike Peak, and they haul, up to the top, and whoever has the fastest time wins. And it's no joke racing.
No, it's real. It's
real deal racing where it is like the faint of heart, real. That's what racers like to do, and those are real racers. The Unsers are legends, and just the fact that, like the previous caller said, it takes a death to remember all the memories, but he's a legend, not only in Albuquerque, but in auto racing in general. So thank you for taking my call.
I appreciate that. That's really good stuff. Really good stuff. Have you ever watched the Pikes Peak stuff? Like, it's gnarly racing.
That's insane. You miss a turn, you're falling down a mountain.
Yeah,
there's nothing to catch you. It's a mountain.
That's right. That's right. And you're tumbling. That's why Bob Brown talking about this. One of the craziest things I heard today that I didn't know. I learned a lot of stuff today. I didn't know Rocky Long won for Gallus Race Team. Bobby Unser melted old tires and retreaded them with walnut shells to improve the tread, to improve the grip, to improve the performance. I did not know that. I guess it's on display at the museum. And my mind immediately goes to, damn, what makes you think that walnut shells in the rubber are going to somehow improve my performance in a race car? It's like you've got to have that mind. And obviously it did. And he said Goodyear took that concept and put it in their race tires.
It's the whole part, like what racing used to be. Repurposing, fabrication, all the stuff you had to do. Can you imagine a race team now going out there and like melting tires and re-putting them back together? No,
you'd leave that team. You'd say they're cheap and they don't have the resources, and how can I win this?
Like, this is ridiculous. Where's my tire sponsorship? Yeah, he's out there going, you know what? Let me put some walnuts in these tires. I got some extra walnut shells. Let's see how this works.
Hey, let's hire Rocky Long and have him crush walnut shells. See, put them in that old coffee can over there. And when that one's done, fill up the other one.
How it works so well, because it makes sense when you need traction, you need grip.
I get it.
And what happens, but walnut shells, like that holds up long enough. When the extra traction it gives you on the dirt and gravel, like, why?
Right. How do you get to that? I mean, concept A. How do you get the concept? And then turn into reality, and then there's Goodyear going, we're gonna put walnut or whatever. I just
music in one.
You know, I always think, how did some of the stuff start? You know, all sorts of innovations. How did they decide that's going to cure this, and you're going to take? How did you decide walnut shells in your let's melt down old tires, retread them. That's going to help me win races. But that's what makes the greats great, right? The innovation. They think differently, they do differently, they perform differently, and ultimately they are different. All right, that's good today. All right, what do I got state tournament wise? You got a game tonight?
4A and 5A get going, boys and girls. I'll be at Volcano Vista for La Cueva at Volcano girls basketball. 7 o'clock, 7-2 matchup. Should be a lot of fun.
All right, get your ProView Network subscription, and you can watch all the games that you want. Aaron, I know you're going to be out there as well. The crew, Alden and Josh and J-Pole, and everybody's going to be out doing games all over today, so enjoy those. I want to say thank you to Bob Brown, who joined us on the show today to talk about Bobby Unser. Danny Gonzalez, the head football coach at the University of New Mexico. Don't forget Night of Champions tonight, 6 o'clock. It is free of charge out at University Stadium. You can go watch big men toss around massive amounts of weight out there in a big competition. It's actually really, really cool, and I know you'll enjoy it. Steph, great work. I don't even see Robert Cat anymore. I think maybe he's taking a nap in our studio because, well, nobody's in our studio. Hey, Ron, excellent job. Jim Rumshow is next. I heard with Colin Cowards after that. Sports Bar with Trulio and Carlisle at 4. We're back with award-winning radio at 7 a.m. tomorrow. JJ, enjoy the day. Have a great call tonight.
Have a day.
Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. Smell you tomorrow.
Jeff Siembieda, JJ Buck, Micah, Josh produces for you today over on the ProView Network side, where you can watch the show worldwide on ProViewNetworks.com or statewide at Comcast Channel 26.
Hey, welcome to the Steve Davis Show.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26.
Welcome to The Point with Nick Rich.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 10, America Talking Out.
I'm Pastor Flora Padilla of Mending Broken Hearts.
Welcome to Henry T. Game Face Live, Comcast 26, and Big Bad ProView Network.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Welcome to Local Focus with Sebastian Noel.
Welcome, sports fans. It's that time of the week again. You are watching the Weekly Rundown.
Hey, welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network.
Hello, I'm Steve Davis. You are watching Public Access TV.